The motherfucking world is a ghetto, full of magazines, full clips, and heavy metal when the smoke settles. I'm just looking for a big yellow. It's 6-inch stilettos, Dr. Dre. Hello. Percolating, keep 'em waiting while you sitting there hating. Your bitch is hyperventilating, hoping that we penetrating. You get snating, cause I never been to Satan. For hardcore administrating, gangbang affiliating. MC Winner had you wildin' off a zone in a whole half a gallon. Get the dialing, 911 emergency. You can tell him, it's my son, he's hurting me, and he's a felon. On parole for robbery, ain't no copping a plea. Ain't no stopping the G. I'm in the 6, you got to hop in the 3. Company monopoly, you handle shit sloppily. I drop a key properly. They call me the Don Dada, pop a collar, drop a dollar. If you hear me, you can holler, even Rockwaller. Follow the Impala, wanna talk about this concrete nigga? I'm a scholar, the incredible, heterosexual, credible, bag of hoes.
All them other guys, they've been talking about the way I do what I do. They heard I was good, they wanna see.
Let it go, dick ain't edible, nigga ain't federal. I plan shit while you handpick, motherfuckers giving up transfer.
Feeling blows up your spot. Take your notebook, your bitch, and your Glock. This motherfucker thought the coochie had a padlock. You slapped her ass, that's alarming. Cause she want my worm like Carmen. We chin check niggas, them thin check niggas. Run trains on gold diggers, beware these faux niggas. Scare motherfuckers like Stephen King flicks. Making niggas clear the room like a dyke flea a dick. Making second to none shit, nigga like quick. So when I'm bound first, nigga, who you rolling with?
I might die tonight, but if I do, I'ma be okay. And if I die tonight, at least I stood by the stuff I said. I got 2 graves dug, one for me and one for the motherfucker standing in my way.
Fuck that ice on your wrist, fuck your fine ass bitch. Cause you can lose it in a tussle, nigga, watch me hustle. Watch niggas kiss my ass without flexing a muscle. Bitches all in the back, their knees waiting to buckle. Same time, same channel, don't change the dial. Niggas for life, fucking your wife, these niggas wild. I started this gangsta shit, and it's the motherfucking thanks I get.
I started this gangster shit, and it's the motherfucking thanks I get.
Did I fall off? Got you in your room ripping every chronic poster on your wall off. It's cause I put away the sawed off. Now I got you sitting back with a smirk, listening with your arms crossed. Questioning Dre's credibility. Wondering if it's still in me to produce hits. Y'all be killing me as if I need to make more. I got a mansion and 6 cars that I paid for. Suck my dick. Hello. We can't think. Hi. 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 A long way from not giving a fuck, selling tapes out of a trunk to moving this far up. Now we got the whole world starstruck. Made $1 million plus and still don't give a motherfuck. Motherfucker, I'm Drake. I don't need your respect. I don't need to make another album, bitch. I don't gotta do shit. I do it because I want to, not to stay in the game. Fuck the fame. I'm still staying the same, little bitch. I started this gangsta shit, and that's the motherfucking thanks I get.
I started this gangsta shit, and it's the motherfucking thanks I get.
These niggas with attitudes. These niggas with attitudes. Look at these niggas with attitudes. These niggas with attitudes. Look at these niggas with attitudes. Look at these niggas with
Oh, are we all sick of this shit yet? We all had enough. We all had enough of this political era of we can't even agree on the same reality. I know I'm pretty goddamn sick of it. I don't know about any of you. Are we all sick of 2020? Oh, the 2020 has been so bad. Oh, hear that a lot. You dorks. Stop it. Stop it. It could have been last year. It could have been next year. It's an arbitrary unit of time. Whatever we decide to, wherever we decide to bracket the year, it could have been the last half of last year and the first half of this year. Doesn't really matter. Stop saying it's all about 2020. But I think you're all about as sick of it as I am. I know you're all sick of staying inside. You've made that abundantly clear. You're sick of wearing masks, and I get it. But at the same time, I don't, and we're certainly going to get into that. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the meat of this thing. People have been asking me. People stop me in the grocery store. People stop me in line at the movies, and they say, "Historian, what is the political focus of your show? What is the political bent of this show, Podcasting Under the Influence," which I adore so much. And I tell them, well, stranger, we worship Donald Trump. And we worship Karl Marx. I hope you get what I'm saying. We don't have a political bent, people. Our political bent here is shit posting. That is what we do here. We shit post. We laugh at dumb shit on the internet. That is why we are here. I'm not here to make a difference. I'm here to laugh at dumb shit on the internet. And if that hurts your feelings, I get it. It's not for everybody. I'm not going to say anything mean about you. I totally get it. Some people have sacred cows that they can't have laughed at. I understand. I don't, personally. And I think a lot of people don't either. So there's that. We are here to shitpost, pure and simple. That is why I am here. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Podcasting Under the Influence, your number one source for shitposting on the internet. I am, of course, your host, the world-renowned historian. Welcome. Let's get into this thing. We got some news. As always, we got a little news to get to before we bring on our guests, and I'm very excited about the guests we've got lined up today. But first of all, oh boy, oh Nelly, look at that. So I think we can see that things started to go up here, and then they started to trend downward. That was probably during the quarantine, right? I'd say that kind of checks out. Then we said, well, we got this thing beat. And then, oh no, Texas, Arizona, Florida, California, what are you doing? No. Yeah, no, we didn't beat this thing because we attacked it essentially as a much poorer country would attack it, which is to say hardly at all. We barely bothered. Meat God, what's up? How you doing, man? Josh will bring you on in a bit. Matchmaker, appreciate the raid, man. Thank you. Although I'm sure this is making you upset, but I'm looking forward to talking to you about it. But we essentially in the United States reacted to COVID as if we are a failed state, which we are well on our way to becoming. And I'd say the numbers more or less speak for themselves. And don't come at me with this more testing shit. It's not true. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. The new cases are outstripping testing by a mile. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but it's true. Trust me. Yeah, this is a good way to put it. COVID took game 1 on our home court. We regrouped and took games 2 and 3 and started thinking, okay, that was scary for a sec, but we've got the lead and can close this out at home, cancel the upset alert. And then COVID ran us off the floor in games 4 and 6. You know, again, if you choose to not believe those official numbers, that's up to you. But they're saying 50,000 new cases a day. That looks real bad. That looks like we really kind of just fucked it up. Like we just kind of bungled this. So, you know, I personally choose to believe experts. If you choose to believe a blog you follow or something like that, good for you. I'm not going to try to stop you. But I tend to believe like people who spent their lives, you know, studying this kind of stuff. So I'm just checking in on chat to see if... Anime Girl, what's up? Holy cow, the whole Matchmaker community's here. What's up, guys? Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you guys. But again, I know some of you aren't going to agree with this, and that's fine. We'll bring some folks on to talk about it a little bit later. But oh yeah, speaking of failed states, I feel especially bad for like some of you youngsters. I know Anime Girl's pretty young. Meep, I think you're a Zoomer, if you will. Josh, I think you're 14 or so. So yeah, I feel really bad for you guys for how this is going and how it's going to affect, you know, your adult life and your livelihood and your ability to, you know, earn a living. Like seeing these things, how they're going. So this is Anarcho Trash on Twitter. He says, a man being evicted is asked by the judge if he has evidentiary issues with the argument that he owes rent. Tenant says he doesn't know what that means, but his wife died and he hasn't got his COVID payments, meaning, I assume, his unemployment and a stimulus. Judge asks again if he has evidentiary concerns, grants the eviction. Next young man also doesn't understand the evidentiary question. Says he's been trying to work with his landlord, but they won't talk with him. He just needs a little time because he lost his job. Judge asks if he has evidence to submit, grants the eviction. Another woman didn't dispute that she owed some rent, but disputed the amount owed. Judge explains that the amount is a separate issue. Since she admits that she owes something, judge grants the eviction. One couple stands up and has no objections to any of the landlord's claims. They seem nervous and quiet, clearly just showed up because they had a court date, but don't try to defend themselves. Judge grants the eviction. Yeah, so you get the idea. Of course, other countries, Western Europe and Canada, did like a rent freeze. Essentially, rent was not due for the months of the quarantine, and they were also paying citizens, a stipend to make sure they stay at home. And what do you know? They crushed COVID. How about that? Meanwhile, we had a eviction freeze in this country, which means at the end of the eviction freeze, which, by the way, was yesterday in a lot of places, hey, that rent's due, and look at what's happening. So it's a failed state. The United States is a failed state in a lot of ways. These are the last gasps of a dying empire. So I feel real bad. Oh, excuse me. I ate some very spicy chicken just before starting the stream, so I apologize about that. Hacking into the mic, but I feel real bad for you you younger folks who are probably only going to just see this get exacerbated as time goes on. But moving on, it's a lot of fun. Tuscaloosa students diagnosed with COVID-19 have been attending parties as part of a disturbing contest to see who can catch the virus first, a city council member says. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with people, man. Like, there's a certain class of people who just, if something doesn't affect them directly, then it must be fake or something. Like, I've read tons of stories from people who were like, no, really, I was invincible. I was just like you. And then all of a sudden, half my lung function's gone. Yes, I qualify as quote unquote recovered, if you will. But, I'll never breathe the same again. And I'll certainly never run any marathons, even though I'm 25 years old. I've read tons of these stories. And then, you hear about these students and you just, I don't know. There's something weird in the human psyche that's probably kind of understudied. And, I'm certainly not the person to look into it. But, in any event, let's move on. I was monitoring chat, but I don't think I'm going to. I'm happy you're all here. Even if you're here for a second, all you from the Matchmakers community, Jordan, Josh, anybody who swings by, if you spend 5 minutes here, thank you. Please don't take any of this too seriously. Don't get too angry. Don't let this ruin your day. Don't let this ruin an hour, let alone a day. Just, we're here to chuckle at things. Oh, yes. There's nothing I love more than the public freakouts. I adore these things. We all know the Karen meme, obviously. It's the sort of umbrella term that we've identified as white ladies behaving badly, and it's something I've always kind of noticed throughout my life, and I just didn't have the Karen meme to identify it. But this is a wonderful one about a mask freakout. Well, we can full screen that. Karen don't give no fucks. Guys, I don't know. If I needed like bread and steak and chicken or cookies or whatever that is on the ground, personally, I'd probably just wear the mask. I wouldn't throw it all over the floor and flip out. I don't know. People are different. That was a good one, though. We got a couple more here.
Ma'am, I have a breathing problem. My doctor would not let me wear a mask. So anyone harassing me to wear a mask, you guys are violating federal law. You get that?
That's not true. That's not true. As funny as that is, that's not true. It's not a violation of federal law to require a mask. Certainly, if she doesn't have any documentation or anything, that's a bunch of hooey. We have a Florida man. Of course, it's always Florida man. Angry over gift shop's mask rule, exposes himself in front of children. That's not very funny. That's that's an overreaction. That escalated quickly. Even if you're angry about a mask, I strongly discourage his response to that. That's not something that is a proper response to being angry about a new policy. Oh, we have some local Oregon news. This is great. On the first day of Oregon's statewide mask order, which was yesterday, by the way, a group of Oregon state troopers refused to wear face coverings inside a Corvallis coffee shop despite being asked to do so. I think that technically qualifies as law. If the governor issued an executive order, I believe that's generally considered a law that you gotta follow, especially if you're a cop. But one of them said, F. Kate Brown. And there's video of this, which we're not going to watch, but apparently one of them has been placed on administrative leave, which probably amounts to paid leave. But yeah, even here. By the way, in Portland, coronavirus, or I should say in Oregon, in coronavirus cases, I can speak, are spiking. I think the last, all 5 records have been set in the last week, including today, which was the new record. So we have our public servants out there, doing their part, I guess. But yeah, this was also very funny. Lincoln County, Oregon just released a rule. This was since rescinded. This is a week old. Lincoln County, Oregon just released a rule requiring masks for all citizens except people of color with heightened racial concerns about racial profiling. And this, meanwhile, while the coronavirus has hit, minority communities far, far worse than Caucasians. That was very stupid, and it was rescinded. I think they realized how stupid they were being, and they just walked it back, if you will. Oh yeah, this was fun. Heads up, fellow businesses. This is not a thing. This is what happens when arts and crafts Karens have too much time on their hands. The face mask exempt card. I am exempt from any ordinance requiring face mask usage in public. Wearing a face mask. Wait. Did they mean to say poses? Okay, they misspelled poses. I thought they tried for possesses for a second. Wearing a face mask poses a mental and or physical risk to me. Why would it pose a mental risk? Why would wearing a piece of cloth the size of a dollar bill on your face pose a mental risk? I don't really know what that's about. But under the ADA, I am not required to disclose my condition to you. That is absolutely not true. Department of Justice ADA violation reporting number, and they have some official looking things here. I'm tickled that somebody thought to make that. That's very funny to me. Oh, and we've got the Trump Russia stuff. We're certainly going to talk quite a bit more about this later, but essentially what it looks like is that the Russian government had bounties on American soldiers in the Middle East. And Trump was either briefed on it and did nothing, or just wasn't briefed on it because his people know that he doesn't want to hear about that stuff, or he just didn't read the brief. It's pretty interesting. I thought it was complete nonsense at first, but the more I look into it, the more it seems like it was probably there's definitely some smoke there, and it's sure starting to look like there's some fire. And I'd withhold complete condemnation of Trump before I see, a little bit more evidence, I guess, because I don't just want to be that person that believes every bad thing about Trump, but it definitely does look pretty bad. So there's that. 2 guys in a steam bath. Trump praises himself on phone calls with Putin, according to a CNN report. So this was some insider. I don't want to get too deep into this, but some insider in the administration said that Trump talks to Putin as if they're 2 guys in a steam bath. A senior Trump administration official says this. Who knows who that is? They can't help but undercut him at every turn at this point. They're all jumping off the ship, as it were. But yeah, and we've got Trump's. Punched my pop filter. Sorry there, gang. We've got Trump's white power retweet. So I don't know if you guys didn't see this or not, but he retweeted a video from the Villages in Florida, where I've never been. But yeah, it was a supporter of his, screaming at a Black Lives Matter protester, and the supporter very clearly at the end of the video screams white power. If you look at it, it sure seems like the guy is joking. he's trying to like troll and incite, a reaction from these Black Lives Matter protesters. At the same time, obviously, the president should absolutely not be retweeting such things, which means, personally, I don't think he even watched it. I don't. Nobody could prove that, obviously, but. So we have a tweet here. It took hours for Trump to delete the white power retweet, which is true. The claim now is that he could not be reached while golfing. Now, this leaves two horrifying possibilities. Number one, his staff wouldn't know how to reach him in an emergency. Or two, it took hours to persuade him to delete the video, which, personally, I find it kind of hard to argue with that logic. Why wouldn't he delete that? It's very strange. First of all, why would he tweet it in the first place? But once it was very obvious that everyone had realized, someone screaming white power in it, why in God's name wouldn't you delete that? Yeah, and then we've got these shirts, which is, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how like a big Trump supporter could even support this or even say it was like a good idea. We've got this Nazi, iconography on the left, and I guess these are Trump shirts. I don't know. Like, why would you do this? They're selling a baseball for $88, which is a Hitler reference. Yeah, I don't know. And this is one of those things that I'm just so sick and tired of in this era is like, they'll do something like this and people will point it out and his supporters will be like, oh, he's joking. It's not a big deal. Or it was an accident. It was a coincidence. And it just goes on and on and on. And it's like, well, how many of these like coincidences do you need? It's really, really weird. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I don't want to talk about that. Let's see. So we have the Portland police. Of course, I know exactly what everybody will say about this. Everybody on one side will be like, oh, well, they were using, tear gas against these peaceful protesters. And so they actually attacked journalists here, which is a little, a little past their usual, I would say. They removed her press badge and cash from her pockets. She is visibly vomiting from CS gas exposure. Corey Elia, the journalist, was also arrested. So I actually, when I first, found this, I thought it was just about the incident in North Portland where they were using, tear gas against protesters. But yeah, they're attacking journalists also, which, again, pretty weird behavior. I don't know about that. Oh yes, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested by the FBI. I think they already kind of had her in custody. She was in under house arrest or something like that. So it's official now. So I guess the quote unquote suicide watch begins here. Because she certainly will have some dirt on some extremely, extremely powerful people, just as Epstein did. So we will see if she herself gets Epsteined. You got to wonder. But yeah, it's a little palate cleanser from the news. I know we're all shook up from the news. Here's a freaking pterodactyl carrying a shark off. That's a shark. He's carrying a shark. It's a little shark, but still.
I was like, oh, do you see it?
Look at him trying to get away. That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I've never seen a bird pick up a shark before. Oh yeah. And so we have a guy with a. So we have a Little League player about to. So you guys probably saw that. Yeah, so a foul ball came over the fence. He hit both balls at the same time. Again, one of the craziest things I've ever seen. All right. Everybody, that's the news. We are going to cut to a break, and we're going to come back with my good brother, Joey and we're going to discuss the TV show Ozark, which is a different tack for this program. So, yeah, we're going to cut to a break. We'll be back here in a bit. Everybody who's here, thanks for being here. Be right back.
I hear mariachi static on my radio, and the tubes they glow in the dark, and I'm there with her in Ensenada while I'm here in Echo Park. Carmelita, hold me tighter, I think I'm sinking down, and I'm all strung out on heroin on the outskirts of town. Well, I'm sitting here playing solitaire with my pearl-handled deck. The county won't give me no more methadone, and they cut off your welfare check. Carmelita, hold me tighter, I think I'm sinking down, and I'm all strung out on heroin on the outskirts of town. Smith Corona, and I went to meet my man. He hangs out down on Alvarado Street by the Pioneer chicken stand. Carmelita, hold me tighter, I think I'm sinking down, and I'm all strung out on heroin on the outskirts of town. Carmelita, hold me tighter, I think I'm sinking down, and I'm all strung out on heroin on the outskirts of town.
Oh, what's up, guys? We are going to call my brother Joey, which I meant to do on break, but I got distracted. Sorry about that. Oh, anyways. My God, these things always turn into car wrecks, don't they? It's okay. And it always takes like 4 or 5 tries to get through to
Hello?
Joey.
Hey, what's up, man?
Good brother Joey.
Yo.
Welcome.
Am I on right now, or?
You are on right now. Yes, I should be
Oh,
honest
okay.
about that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, sir. Your first appearance is certainly not your last. I'm.
Yes. I hope.
Sir, always happy to have you here. Always happy to chat. What's up, man?
Hey, living the dream.
Right.
Living the dream.
So they shut most of your state back down. I noticed.
Yeah. Yeah. A little too late. I think.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. But you know what though? It really doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me because I've been living like it's shut down anyway. You
telecommute, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Since March.
Yeah.
With really no end in sight.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we've actually we've had a lively first half hour. There's some debate
okay.
happening, which I don't know if this probably won't inspire quite as much debate, but we're here to discuss Ozark, of course. Which I think I liked more than you did.
Yeah.
I guess just by way of just brief plot synopsis, it's the story of Marty and Wendy Bird. Marty is an accountant who also, his side gig is as an accountant for a drug cartel. And in the opening episode, his partner is discovered to have been skimming, and Marty makes this kind of wild promise to his cartel contacts. I think he sees like a travel pamphlet, and he just pulls it out of his ass to save his life. He says, "Hey, I'm going to go up to the Ozarks and make you, I'm going to clean $500 million for you or whatever," and that
right.
kind of provides the impetus for them to move from Chicago to the Ozarks and meet this wonderful, terrifying hillbilly family, the Langmores. But I don't know.
Langmore.
Yeah. Yes. So I guess
but I couldn't think of the name.
I'd love to hear your overall impressions. Well, first of all, I think the obvious comparison here is Breaking Bad, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So what are your overall impressions of the show?
And first off, I put you on speaker. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. So it started off really good. I thought the first episode was really good, really dark.
Yes.
When they shoot I guess I wasn't really 100% clear on the relationship there. I know he was having an affair with her, but was she like the secretary or something? When she went to the bathroom and they shot her in the bathroom?
That was great. Yeah. I think it was like a secretary / friend with benefit kind of thing. Was the vibe I got.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought it started off fine. I thought the first season actually in general was great. It was real kind of low key, really kind of their own. The other family, I can't think of the name. Help me out. The heroin family.
God, where the dad is the judge from Ghostbusters 2, or not the dad, but the patriarch.
No. Wait, what? Say that again?
Where are you talking about the heroin family where the patriarch is the judge from Ghostbusters 2?
No, Buddy is the judge from Ghostbusters 2.
Right, you're right.
God, no. But you know who I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah. Spoilers, everybody. Sorry. Yeah. Carry on. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. It's fine. We should have. Yeah.
That's a good point. No, the family. It's their husband and wife. Why can't I think of their names? Okay. All right. All right. By the way, you know what I did like in the first episode? Did you catch who plays Wendy's lover?
I did not.
That gets tossed out the window?
Yeah, his death was amazing, but no, I didn't catch who he was.
No. Snells. The Snells. Jacob and Darlene Snells.
Yeah, so Jacob Snell is the judge from Ghostbusters 2.
No. Buddy is.
Okay. I'll take your word for that. Yeah. But anyway.
Buddy Hewlin is the judge. Also too, he's good. He's just a great character actor. He was also in Scarface. He was the cop that tried to shake down Tony in the club.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Right.
Great character actor. And then what's funny too is he also showed up for a couple episodes in Billions. We ended up watching Billions after we got caught up with Ozark, and
nice.
he plays a fucking judge. It's great.
So what?
Bruce Altman plays her lover.
Oh yeah. Okay, right. So what are your overall impressions of the show? I guess.
Well, like I said, I thought the first season was great. The first season had a real kind of darkness to it, a kind of almost simplicity to it. I think that pretty early on in season 2, for me anyway, they just started piling on too much too soon, I think. As far as the adversaries, you got the Snells, you got the Langmores, you got the FBI, you got the cartel, and then you also got the mafia. But then also, the grieving pastor also had to come on and play a little bit of an antagonistic role. It got to the point where it was almost a farce to me, just because there was just so much going on at once. It was like, come on, give them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can only burn the tension that like white hot for so long, and they somehow keep squirming out of it before it's like, okay, well then they basically have plot armor now. Like you've kind of like burnt out our ability to, it's like in wrestling. Okay, I can make this comparison makes sense. So, like in the old days of wrestling, it'd be like you'd start with a headlock, and maybe you'd do like a bear hug and a sleeper hold, and then when somebody does something crazy like a splash off the top rope, like whoa, that's amazing! Like that, blows your circuits. Whereas nowadays, it's all like splashes off the top rope and people doing backflips and shit. Now it's like, okay, well, it's all watered down now. Like we can't like I can't like have that same emotional reaction because they're always in the deepest, hottest water that I can't even like care because I know they're going to get out of it.
Right, and it always he did this a couple times, and he did it in the first episode, and that's fine. That was fine, but he has this thing where he gets cornered, he's got guns pointed on him, and he talks his way out of it. He did it at least a couple times. He did it with the Langmores, the first time he encountered the Langmores, and then he did it again when they kidnapped him and took him down to Mexico. It's like, all right, Marty, we're going to kill you. Wait, I can do this X, Y, Z for you. Okay, we're not going to kill you now.
Yeah.
They did that a bunch of times. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it can only happen so much to where, you don't buy it anymore. Or like you said, you don't care.
It's almost an exercise of like, what if every episode was a season finale?
Yes.
It's like it's always like, oh, is Wendy going to turn on Marty? Is Ruth going to kill Marty? Is Marty going to kill Ruth? And it's always just at that like very highest level. And and that's just human nature. Like if you spend all your time at that very highest level, it's like, well, it's going to burn you out your ability to react to it.
Yeah. Walking Dead got a little bit like that, I think. When I tuned out, it got to like, where every episode was, and I mean, it's a tool. I get it. I get why they do it, but for Netflix, we're gonna watch the next episode. probably
Yeah.
right away.
Often,
there's no-
often accidentally, frankly.
Yeah. You know, the FBI presence, that's fine. I think that's important. But for them to, although I will say one of my favorite things about one of the things I think worked the best on season 2 is the callback to the druggy mother storyline for Petty.
Yeah.
That was I think that was real. That was Pink Bear in the pool quality right there.
Yeah, I
That
agree.
was.
I
You know
agree.
what I'm saying?
That's a Breaking Bad reference if you didn't watch Breaking Bad, but Petty.
You pretty much did if you watched Ozark.
That's probably the case. Petty was a great character. I really liked that character.
He was. I think that if it was just Petty, I think it would have been just fine. Dial back the cartel business. Don't introduce the Kansas City Mafia at all.
Yeah,
Wait,
I agree.
do that.
Yeah.
Do that in season 3. Have Petty and you know it's not bad to have law enforcement or something like that be the main adversary so early on. If you remember, Dexter did that.
Yeah, you're right.
The second season, there was really no big bad villain in season 2. It was the FBI and his own police department.
Right.
You know, it would have been fine. It would have worked. But they just it felt like they had it on 10 for all of them. You know. And another one too. Her dad. Her dad was Ruth's dad. And you know, one of my things is too with villains, and Petty almost got to that point, but not bad, is when they make villains so over the top bad that when they die, it almost feels like it's not satisfying enough. You know what I'm that's bad because it's like when Katie, that was her name, right? Katie?
I think so. Yeah.
Katie?
Yeah.
You know, it was like kind of almost anticlimactic because he played such a big, he was actually part of maybe another thing that I liked about it too. Don't
the Langmores for me was kind of a weird, almost opposite of usual, because like you meet them and they're this like evil, like I kept calling them like this evil like Appalachian clan, but obviously it's not the Appalachians, it's the Ozark. It's these like evil like conspiratorial hillbillies, and when you first meet them, like they're like a real threat, and you're like really scared of them, and then they complicate all the characters, which I usually love.
Yeah.
I usually love that, and I want to see like more like 3-dimensional people, like especially like hillbilly people, like seeing how like, oh, Wyatt's a big sci-fi nerd and Ruth, you know, loves like 90s like gangster rap. Like that's the kind of shit I would usually love, but it just like weakened them for me, and I don't know exactly why, you know.
They clowned them, and I've noticed that a lot of shows have been doing that lately, where they completely change a character to the point where they're almost like a parody of what they started off at.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe some shows might do it for maybe some comic relief effect, but and that's almost what happened with the Langmores. Especially in the first season, they became almost buffoon-like. And yeah, I mean, the first time we meet them, they have Marty all at gunpoint in a rest stop, right? Rest stop bathroom.
Yeah, which was awesome. I loved that.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. But and the stakes were high and they were scary and they seemed like they were going to be a threat. And then
Ruth had the money that he was supposed to launder. You know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was a big deal. And then, yeah, you know, and sorry, never mind. Go ahead with what you were saying.
No, just I went back and forth with the character of Ruth, probably more so than any character ever in fiction. I went back and forth from like, oh my god, this is like one of the greatest characters in the history of fiction, to, oh my god, this is the writer's favorite, and it's obnoxious, and it's just on the nose now, and I just need it to stop. You know, like I wavered back and forth between those two poles, I guess. So I'd ask you what you thought about the character of Ruth particularly.
I couldn't stand her at all.
Gotcha.
I think that, and here's my problem, and you know, people can debate this, but I think Breaking Bad is probably one of, like wall to wall, just beginning to end, one of the greatest series of all time. There's not a lot of, with the exception of maybe an episode here and there, and maybe the last season was a little bit. Yeah, it's still, you know what though? I went back and watched it. It is a great episode, but if I were watching it as it happened, I would have been so pissed at that episode. I would have gone off the wall. When you watch it in the whole thing, it was kind of I don't know, but I would like to find out more about that. Actually, I'd like to get Vince Gilligan's, but.
You know what? You know what it felt like to me. You know what? I don't mean to cut you off, but just the Fly episode felt to me like a recap, like they needed a week off, so they did like a clip show or something, like they used to do back in the day. But yeah, your issue with Ruth.
Yeah, they you know what's funny? They still do that. Shows still do that. in fact, not as often as they did, but you know, The Office even had a clip show. They had one clip show. And sorry, this is deviating from Ozark, but
that's okay.
So they're I don't know what do you call it, where there's still original material that's kind of bookending the clips. The whole thing is they're selling Dunder Mifflin to Kathy Bates' company, so she had a banker come in to assess all the stuff, and that's all the stuff that's coming up, all the craziness that happens in The Office.
Right.
But you know who plays the banker? Gail Bedecker from
nice.
From Breaking Bad.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And that actor, he actually is in Billions too. He plays kind of the right hand man to the main villain, and he's this like coke snorting deviant. It's hilarious,
nice.
And because of how Gail is. But anyway, I digress. Ruth. So, my problem with Ruth is, and I don't know if you kind of felt the same thing, and you automatically, because it's so similar, which would have been fine if they would have done it better, but just obviously the parallels between Ruth and Jesse Pinkman, right?
Yeah, I guess I see that now that you say it. I guess when I was watching her, I went more Al Swearingen in Deadwood. And remind me, have you watched Deadwood?
I haven't. That's on my list.
Okay. Yeah, I went more Al because starts out like completely like evil and like witty and funny, and like you kind of like him even though they're like this evil bastard, and then they gradually do like the heel face turn. That felt very Al and also Ruth to me, but I definitely also see the Pinkman, because I mean honestly, like Pinkman has like a similar arc. He starts out like just kind of like the scumbag, do nothing like dirtbag, and he eventually becomes frankly like your favorite character on the show, really, like the only one with like a real like honest moral backbone.
Well, I heard it recently stated that while Walter, and to some extent Sky, and even in the spinoff series of Saul, they break bad, but Jesse kind of does the opposite, and
totally.
That kind of solidified. Yeah. Did you see El Camino?
I've seen and I'm embarrassed to say this, I've seen like the first half, and I was weirdly kind of nonplussed.
What do you mean?
I mean, I just it wasn't necessarily up to the same quality as the show, in my opinion. I need to watch it again.
That's a great ending. Great. I no, I get what you're saying. It definitely doesn't. It doesn't have the same octane.
Mhm.
But if you care about the character of Jesse,
Yeah.
it's a great epilogue for him, I think.
Right on.
And lots of fan service too. I recommend it. But so when Ruth, jumping ahead to season 3, when Ruth gets shit kicked out of her, which by the way, that was a big mistake. That was hard. That was a tough one.
Yeah.
Having her get kicked out of her like that. I mean, she was avenged. Well, I think, but you know, her scene in the hospital, you know, when she's, you know, her big moment where she's, you know, the birds have totally basically abandoned her, and you know, she's fuck you, I'm on my own.
Right.
Like, compare that to the scene when in Breaking Bad with Jesse Pinkman, when Hank kicks the shit out of him and he's in the hospital. Do you remember that scene where he's telling Walter and Saul what he's gonna do, and just like the intensity that he had?
Yeah, I think he said he's gonna go kill Hank, doesn't he?
No, he's gonna sue him.
That's
but he's
right.
gonna sue him to the point where he kills himself, and then he's gonna sue Hank's wife until the point where she kills herself. Like, I mean, it's like super dark and super intense. And I don't know. Ruth is another one, a little bit on the clown side. So to the point where when she is trying to be straight, it's almost like what was it? What was I told it to you? It was like Mike Judge wrote her dialogue.
Wait, what? One more time?
It was like Mike Judge wrote her dialogue.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Sometimes
yeah.
Are you gonna launder my money or sell me propane and propane accessories?
Yeah, I mean, it lapsed very quickly into self-parody, and they are doing like a final season, and I'm glad they're like doing like a finale to the story, but it lapsed more quickly into self-parody than like probably any character I've ever seen. I don't know. I'd say like Al and Deadwood certainly, like, oh, people like it when he says cocksucker, so we're gonna make him say cocksucker, 5 times a minute or whatever.
Right.
Ruth definitely.
Let's see how many times.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's see how many times we can get Ruth to say "fuck" in a sentence.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is. And again, like, that was really, really over with me for like a season and a half. But then it was clearly like Al Pacino saying, hooah. Really, all of Al Pacino's career after Son of a Woman.
Right.
It's just like, oh, we're making fun of the Al Pacino, persona. We're not really doing like a movie with the actor Al Pacino. Right. Yeah. So I get that. What did you make of
she won an Emmy.
No, go ahead.
She won an Emmy.
Frankly, I thought she should have for that, that first, 18 episodes or whatever. I absolutely. Yeah, it was great work.
Well, I don't think it was for the first 18 episodes. I think it was for the second season. But see, no, it was last year. But here's the thing is, and if you go look at her fellow nominees, because I had to look at it because I couldn't fucking believe it. You know who her fellow nominees were? There was an actress from a show called Killing Eve or something, which I wasn't familiar with, so I can't say.
Okay.
But the other nominees were Lena Headey, Sophie Turner,
for Cersei,
Macy Williams.
Oh. I'm sensing a pattern.
Macy Williams. Yeah, and Gwendolyn Christie.
Okay, so all of the others are Game of Thrones actresses. If you people don't follow such things.
Now, what happens when you have two characters or two actors from the same movie in the same category?
Well, it's like Ross Perot taking votes from George Bush, essentially.
Right, or it's like in 1972 when you had James Caan, Robert Duvall, and I want to say Pacino all nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Who do you pick?
It all fucking cancels it out.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Did you know that they were all nominated the same year?
I think I probably knew that many, many moons ago, like Ken Valentine's class era. I think I probably.
See? That's what's going to happen. But anyway.
So
that's, I guess.
by the way, speaking of, you have alongside your lovely wonderful wife have been watching every Academy Award Best Picture winner in order, and I think you just finished 2001, was it, or the winner in 2001?
No, we're halfway through Gladiator 2000.
Okay.
When we watch them during the week, we have to split up the long ones. I can't sit through a 3-hour movie after a day of work.
Isn't it amazing how that happens?
Yeah.
when I was 14, I'd happily sit through Gladiator in like back-to-back viewings, even as late as like the Lord of the Rings movies. I'm like, hell yeah, let's watch them all on one day. And now I'm like, man, I gotta watch this in a week. You know?
Oh my God! So that's what's happening this weekend. So 2003, Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Well, here's the problem with that is we haven't seen the other two, so we have to fucking watch the other two too. Otherwise, it's gonna be a complete. We're gonna be totally lost.
Of course.
Crystal did bring up the idea of maybe doing like a recap, but you know that motherfucker's like 4 hours long, the third one, and the other two are just as bad.
I know.
So,
I'm so happy you've never seen Fellowship of the Ring. That's so funny to me.
And it's not. I mean, it's the same reason why I never watched the Star Wars until I was until episode 1 came out.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that I don't want to. It's just it's not really subject matter that's super interesting to me.
Right.
And you know,
it's just that you're probably the last person on planet Earth who has not seen Fellowship of the Ring.
I agree. I totally agree. And you know what? Harry Potter too. I've never seen any of the Harry Potter.
That's awesome. Oh God, I love you, man. that's incredible. Yeah. So, go ahead.
Oh no, I broke our deal. I don't know if you remember, but because you and I were so pissed off that Saving Private Ryan didn't win in '98, that we swore we would never watch Shakespeare in Love. We were the Never Seen Shakespeare in Love Club.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say I had to.
So now that you've seen it, so question 1, what did you think of Shakespeare in Love? And question 2, well, it has to do with the overall, you know, all the films from the Best Pictures. First of all, what did you think of Shakespeare in Love?
Oh, I mean, it was fine, but I mean, come on, man, what the fuck were they thinking?
Yeah. Okay. So we were right. We were right back then.
100%.
Okay.
100%. I mean, Saving Private Ryan. I mean, I don't understand. You know, Spielberg has gotten knocked around a couple times with his World War II movies. I don't know if you know this, but Empire of the Sun didn't get shit.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh, well, all right then. You've really never seen Empire of the Sun?
I will make a point of it. I haven't.
It's fantastic. It's Christian Bale must have been 10 years old, but he was, I mean, probably the best movie he's ever done.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
John Malkovich, Joe Pantoliano. That's it. Oh, put that on your list, man. That's a great movie.
I will. I'll watch it tomorrow.
But yeah, I mean, great movie, and like I said, just tons of great performances. It didn't get shit, but sometimes it's just. I think it's just the year that it comes out. I think just. I don't know. Next year's going to be interesting.
Well, first of all, secondarily, you know, having seen the entire sweep of you know, Academy approved Best Picture winners, what do you have any observations? You know, any patterns or anything like that?
No, because you know, especially the early ones, you know, it's been a long time, and I guess don't quote me on this, but when was the last time a comedy won?
Uh, you could argue Forrest Gump in some ways. You could argue Birdman, I guess. Uh,
Great. I can't wait to watch that again. That was a good one.
what's that?
I can't wait to watch that one again. That was good.
I guess you could probably argue The Artist was technically a comedy, right?
Oh yeah.
Um,
But it seems like there was more of a diverse selection, especially in the like maybe the first quarter. You know, like going back all the way to 1938. You can't take it with you. It was like this. It was Frank Capra, so it was like this kind of quaint little, just fun little kind of farce sort of movie.
yeah.
You know, lighthearted, and then then the next year, Gone with the Wind. You know, it just felt like it was like so diverse. But now it just seems like it's kind of the same, almost the same type of movie every year.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm misplacing the recent winners because that's just how our brains work when we get old. But yeah. For the most part, that's the vibe I get. It's always like some kind of like I don't know, and I'm not like anti SJW by any stretch, but like some kind of like socially conscious drama probably is going to win.
Right.
You know, so some film that's saying something quote unquote important, I guess.
Right. And it really kind of has been like that every year, and except for maybe since maybe 2012. Argo was just kind of. Oh no, Birdman. Birdman was just kind of fun.
Yeah, well, it was about the filmmaking industry, wasn't it? Which is something they always kind of like gravitate to. It's like, oh, that's about our industry. Oh, we'll throw lots of awards at that.
Yeah, that's true. You know, we watched Titanic on Sunday.
Yeah.
When that movie was out, I mean, you know, you and I grew up in the same town. Our theater played two movies. And because that movie was, you know, I'm sure it was the same thing with Endgame, probably Avatar. It was in the theater for weeks. And I swear to God, man, I must have went and saw it. I don't even want to admit how many times I saw it. I fucking love that movie. And you know what? I still kind of liked it. It was still enjoyable for me.
It doesn't suck. It doesn't suck. It really doesn't.
I mean, if you set aside the love story, which is, you know, just okay, the like, I don't think that there's ever a need to ever make another movie about the Titanic. I think he fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
As far as the actual history of it and the people and it was still an enjoyable movie for me. And you know what? And another thing too that I noticed, when you're talking about the fictional characters of it, the character of Rose, I thought she was kind of badass, in some ways more so than I used to, and I thought that kind of surprised me a little bit. Like that scene where they're down partying with the steerage people. And she takes the guy's cigarette and then does the thing with her toes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of a cool character. I don't know. And she's still got the cigarette in her mouth when she's doing it. Like, that's who she is. That's the rich, that's not her. This is her.
I
I thought that was kind of
I,
overlooked a little bit.
I guess I'll never forget how it was Robert McKee doing a TV interview, and he was the author of the great the modern Aristotle's Poetics that Ken Valentine espoused when we were in that class together, and McKee was like, "Oh, it's a fine story. It's just an incredibly cliched story. It's rich girl, poor boy, blah blah blah." And you look at Roger Ebert's review of it, the great Saint Roger Ebert, who I know we both admire greatly, quite a lot, if you will. But Ebert was like, "Yeah, it's cliched, but you don't choose the most expensive movie ever made to reinvent the wheel." And I was like, "Holy shit, Roger Ebert, man!" Yeah.
Right.
Called it.
It was fine. I just, I don't know, man. Like, it was just, it's haunting. Even still, the characters that you get to know, that you know are gonna all die.
Yeah.
It's it held up for me. I don't know.
Joe,
that was the first one I had actually seen in theater.
Remind me, are you a PlayStation guy?
Not in a long time.
Okay. I'm
a Nintendo guy.
I recently purchased the PlayStation VR, and I got a like a thing where you can explore the Titanic. I'm looking forward to like messing around with it. But it's essentially it's like Cameron's Voyage, and you can like wander around in it. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
They re-released it around the time of the 100-year anniversary of the actual sinking.
Yeah.
And we went and saw it, and for some reason, they re-released it in 3D. And I was like, all right, see those 3D Winslet titties.
Well, that was that era, early 2010s, kind of the rebirth of the 3D, I guess.
But what struck me about it, though, is at the time, there was a lot of people, a very shockingly scary amount of people that didn't know it was a true story. Did you know that?
Are you joking?
The sinking part, not the Rose and Jack part, but the sinking part.
Right.
They didn't know it really happened.
Oh man.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's terrifying. Yeah.
And it's not like it's something that our generation. It was still like what, 70 years before we were born, but we knew it was a real thing. I don't understand why that scared me a little bit when I was hearing. It was one of those articles where they show a bunch of tweets of people just finding out that it really happened. And
so they thought
like, Jesus Christ.
Well, right, yeah. I always wonder about like are those like selective, or is it like, we talked to 100 people and we found 8 people who said that they didn't know that George Washington was the first president, so therefore we compiled that, like the Jimmy Kimmel type shit. Like, didn't he used to do that? Like,
oh no, that was Leno.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'm off by a generation of Tonight Show hosts or Late Show hosts. I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever.
Brother Joey, we got to move on this stream. I love talking to you, man. We're going to be on Discord if you want to jump on Discord. We're going to move on to a different topic, just because I'm doing a stream, not because I got to move on with the conversation. But we're going to move over to Discord if you want to jump over there and join in.
All right. Is it what we talked about yesterday?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will pass, my friend. But as always, it was great talking to you, and we got to do this some more. There's lots of, in fact, there's lots of we kind of but it's cool. But lots of Ozark stuff.
Fucking A, man. Yeah, we'll do it again soon. Absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah. In regards to the, anyway, it's all good. We'll talk.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Next time.
Well,
I hung up on Joey well before I meant to. Joey, if you're still watching, I sincerely apologize. I thought we had said our goodbyes. My mistake. Everybody, we're going to cut to a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to call somebody else. Get ready. Hey, everybody. All right. There's a giant mass of cords behind me that you all can't see, but it's the bane of my existence that I have never exactly realized how to deal with. But in any event, we're going to call some pals. We got some buddies on Discord. Sadly, Josh is not on Discord, else I'd have included him. But we'll call Josh later in another Skype session. That's fine. Let's see. How y'all doing? I'm doing spectacular. Thank you for asking. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. All right, let's create a call here. Conversation. Invited. Very good at this, by the way. I'm very good at this tech stuff. All right, that's an easy one. And add Josh just in case he pops on. And okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Hey, yeah, you know what? What the heck?
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Am I?
I hear you, Harrison. I hear you.
Loud.
God.
How you doing, sir?
Apparently, you can hear me. Hi.
What's up, gentlemen? How we
Okay.
doing?
Are we
All
live?
kinds of people here.
We're absolutely live. Yes.
Ah,
All kinds of people we can piss off here tonight. Excellent.
I have added multiple folks to the call. They probably won't come in, but hey, we're here. We have
Gotta do
each
something
other.
for your rating.
We have each other. That's all that matters. All right, so gentlemen, this is actually kind of an interesting opportunity because, well, Harrison, I'd identify you as if you obey such signals, probably center right, certainly in the United States.
perhaps.
In your
But I
own,
am a Canadian, so keep that in mind.
yeah, in your own country, you're probably pretty. Again, if you believe such signals, probably pretty gosh darn right wing. But we also have my great friend, the YouTube matchmaker, here in the call, who sees the world a different way. Certainly different from how I do. And I have been long hoping to give him this chance, an opportunity, if he wants to make the case for COVID being, false, for it essentially being the flu, as you've said to me. I hope I'm not revealing too much here. As you've said to me multiple times over DMs, you basically consider COVID to be a false, panic, or a false moral panic, if you will. And I want to give you that chance to make the case to me, and I'm happy to listen to any viewpoint. I will listen to somebody saying that the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, as long as you have evidence. That's what I'm here for.
Well, whether you have all that evidence that you can produce at any moment on the screen for everyone to show that I've said that, which I'm sure you do, I will clarify a number of things there of where my worldview is today on this, which is, one, I'm sure that it exists. I'm sure that there has been a COVID, coronavirus going back to the 60s. And what I have said is that the data is not accurate that is being reported from the beginning on, and that a lot of people die every day, every year. And if this was a year ago that a lot of these people had dropped dead, or 5 years ago, they would say they died of natural causes, they died of cancer, they died of a heart attack, they died in a car accident. But now they like to test everybody when they're dead or approaching death. And they go, oh, they're a COVID, so we'll tally it to the fucking thing and get our extra money and whatever. And that's where I have a problem with the stats, for one thing. The other thing is this notion that, oh, we got 50,000 new cases. Oh, it's so fucking terrible. And the reality is, yes, the testing is more. And yes, back in April when you had 28,000 cases, or March or whenever the hell, there was an 8%, 9% serious critical, shit is going to hit the fan for people that get it. Now you're at 1%. So comparatively, you would need to have roughly 8 times 28,000 to be in the same boat of seriousness that you were back then. So now you double it, not even double it, but let's just say happy-go-lucky, double it from 25,000 cases a day to 50, and now, oh, we need to shut everything down. Nothing should have shut down in the first place. There should have been 0 social distancing, 0 masks, and all this bullshit. And they should have kept the economy open, the country open. The problem is they shut shit down, and in doing so, it makes it hard to reopen it. You got people making more money not working than were working. You got all this nonsense stimulus bullshit that they're putting out with where they're doubling it up. Okay, we're going to give you a stimulus check, and we're going to give you unemployment, and we're going to give you an extra $600 a fucking week unemployment. Makes 0 sense how they figure this out. You're not rewarding people that are working through it. They're not doing shit for the people who are self-employed or the small business people who are going out of business because they can't pay their fucking rent, but you're going to just send fucking money to anybody else. And then they bitch, oh, why aren't illegal aliens getting the fucking money? I mean, it's crazy fucking stuff. So I don't agree with your notion, whether I've said it before or not, that it's just the flu or whatever. But I do say that if they hadn't tested for it at all, they would be looking at people. Many people wouldn't even go get tested. They would be at home saying, I'm sick, I'm going to get over it and go back to work when I'm over it. And those kinds of things. Or if they went to the doctor, they get looked at and say, yeah, you got the fucking cold. You got the flu. I mean, most of these people have very minor symptoms that are testing positive. And plus there's false fucking tests, by the way. Some of them say it's 50% inaccurate. If I could sell pregnancy tests that were 50% inaccurate, I'd fucking go in business.
Yeah, so
Harrison, you might be pregnant.
So
sorry, that amused me far more than it should have.
so there was an awful lot there, and Dusty,
I just got started.
Dusty, I realize you joined very late in the diatribe, but
he caught it all.
Towards the end,
you bring me into?
We're live, by the way. I should always preface things with that.
Oh boy, what have you got me into?
But yes,
I'd be digging a slip trench right now. I feel like this is gonna get heated pretty quickly.
So it's
only
not
if his fat roommate gets in it.
No,
his fat roommate knocks on the door.
Okay. So first of all, yeah, let's cut it out with that stuff. Let's be kind to our fellow man. Isn't that always your mantra? By the way, is that people just have different experiences and preferences.
My meeting that guy changed everything for any chance of him and I ever having that kind of thing. And he's been more than happy to open that up. So anytime I see him in your chat here, we've got him blocked on Facebook and my phone. But if he does make an appearance, then you will be hearing everything till you cut me off. So anyway, I hate that son of a bitch.
Well, just to be clear, did you call him un-American?
He's the most un-American F2 S2 I've ever met in my life.
Okay.
I hate that piece of shit.
Okay.
And I don't care how many bullets. I don't care how many bullets flew across his helicopter while he was flying up there. Probably not even knowing why he was there, or all the bullshit he was told why he was there. But all the same, now that he's back on this land, he is the most un-American piece of shit I've ever met. But anyway, that's not why we're here, are we?
Okay.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
So again, we're saying this about a veteran, right? Is that?
Oh.
Yeah. Thanks for your service. Appreciate that.
Okay.
I do. I appreciate that. I think he's very un-American today.
Okay, so just to be clear, you're not here to debate. I know that. You're 100% wrong about Jordan. You're 1,000% wrong about Jordan. Just to be clear. But the last thing you said about all the positive tests, where there's like you sent me something where it's like, oh, there might be some like oh, you might test positive for the common cold. And I looked into that, and it's for like an antibody test after you're sick. It's not something they use to like identify people like currently while they're in it. Like none of the like 125,000 or whatever, like none of them have been from the antibody common cold test. So that
Well, again, if it had been a year ago and they went to the doctor, most of them wouldn't have even went to a doctor. They're going and getting tested because someone at their work or whatever tested positive, and they go out, they're not even showing signs, or it's very minor, and they go and they get tested and they get told that they've got it or whatever. So most of these people, if it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, wouldn't have even went to a doctor. So they blow this all way out of proportion with the media and everything else. So anyway.
All right.
I
Well,
respectfully disagree.
Again, I don't want this to be like a shouty debate thing. I want this to be like a sharing of ideas.
I didn't know that I was going to be on a panel for it, but that's okay.
Yeah,
I think half of us didn't know that.
So,
I should get my mic vest on for this.
Again, I just want to hear the case for the fact that Corona is fake.
And you're not going to, because I never fucking said that. Goddamn. And you can produce your messages that make you think that I said that or whatever. But again, it's been around since the 60s. It is blown way out of proportion. They should never shut anything down for it. They have, half these fucking people are on their deathbed already with cancer or whatever the fuck, they would have dropped dead anyway. Of course, something is going to create that final fucking breath for them where they're whatever puts them into it, pneumonia, the flu, whatever. But the bottom line is that these are old fucks that are on their way out, and we instead of quarantining them, we're quarantining healthy people, shutting everything down. And then all the other stuff with it. Now, what you wanted to get to with me, as I understand, was me making the case that this is fucking up the presidential election, which it is. Because they took away the campaign trail. I don't know if we're going to get to that later or if this is a good time for me to say that. But that is one of my biggest concerns, is that if you had a typical campaign trail, first of all, they're using this as an excuse for everything. We're going to have mail-in balloting now. We need to keep, let's change the rules at the last minute because we lost in 2016 and are still crying about it. So let's have mail-in voting. Let's get rid of the electoral college. Let's, whatever it is, and they want to just bitch and moan about. And now you have this, now the campaign trail's gone. So who does that benefit? You take away some, comparing President Trump to Joe Biden from a speech standpoint, from going around town to town day after day, giving interviews and giving speeches, he would not lose any state that he won. And I know Michigan's going to be a tough one, but he would not have lost any state that he had won. He would have been in play with New Hampshire, Minnesota, Virginia, if they had the typical campaign trail. But because you took that away from President Trump and, most importantly, Joe Biden, who would have gaffed and fucked up the entire time, it would have separated them so big. And that's a huge concern for me.
Dusty, do you mind if we go to Harrison first? Because I know, Dusty, I know you have some napalm too.
Yeah,
no, he wants to go off. So
Harrison,
the Canadian under the.
I'm not going off.
Throw the Canadian under the bus. I have no horse in this race, or was it a dog in this race? So YouTube. You did make some points there that I agree with. That they want to add in the mail-in voting. That's just ripe for voter fraud right there.
To be clear, we do it in Oregon. We have for years.
Yeah, and that's no change.
Yeah, but again, I'm Canadian. I have no dog in this race, no dog in this fight. So I'm just sitting up here watching what, in my opinion, is possibly the most one-sided, one-sided political victory growing. I'm just waiting for this. Like, just get it over with already. I'm sitting here watching Joe Biden, who, in my opinion, and from what I've seen clips of him with his gaffes, is not all there mentally. And I see President Trump, who has actually been relatively all right for your country. Like, before this whole COVID thing, your economy was really up there. Like, apparently your black unemployment, your Hispanic unemployment was way down. Your economy was way up, and then all this happened, and everything grind to a halt. But then again, I'm not an economist. I'm just a guy trying with a little YouTube channel.
Guys, I'm just hanging up. I'm hanging up on Harrison real quick. I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
And I'm just sitting here, just enjoying the show, because it's practically a circus at this point. Just like seeing Trumpy and seeing Trumpy basically get barraged from all sides.
It's not a practical circus. It's an actual circus. But
but it's not. But the circus, from my point of view, is not from Trumpy's side. It's from his opponents. Like, we have.
Dusty, please, you have the floor.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I start making sense. We shut.
I mean,
no. I hear you.
I think Harrison, you do have a horse pony in this race.
Yeah, that is true. Canada and America have been joined at the hip for a long time.
Yes, I mean we share a border. It's a long border. So what happens in America, especially coronavirus related, will definitely have an impact in Canada.
I do have family down in the States. I got some cousins in California and Washington State, and a few others.
We don't know any of them. I checked. We don't know any of them.
And I don't know any of you guys, family. All right, stop asking me.
I know, dead.
And I'm sure that you're concerned for their safety and well-being, just like we all are. Yeah.
Why are you concerned for my family's safety? You don't know.
I'm concerned for everyone's safety.
Because he's a commie. Because he's a commie.
Because let's control everybody.
It's wait, what?
Let's lock them all up, not let them outside.
How does my empathy translate into control?
Yeah.
All right. Do I have to play referee with you two?
No.
I don't debate or argue. It's just like you say, Harrison. Why care about your family? Why not let them do what they want to do? If they want to go outside, if they want to live their life, everybody's going to die. Life is short anyway. We're going to die.
That's a very nihilistic view you have there.
Well, we are. You weren't alive 100 years ago. You won't be alive in 100 years. Everybody's going to die.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, my family is predisposed for longevity, so I got the genetics for it. Although then again, we are predisposed for several types of cancers. So.
My grandparents lived a long time.
So can I ask you, gentlemen, what you think about the Alabama college students going on and having like COVID parties where they're like, oh, let's see who can catch it the fastest. Like,
that's awesome.
That's so weird to me.
I haven't heard anything about that, but I have heard about the coronavirus challenge when this whole thing started. Like, people going around licking things, and like the one clip I saw where the guy licked a whole row of like deodorant from a supermarket, and then he got arrested and charged with terrorism, and then because he was apparently as a bioweapon. Like, I fully agree with that guy getting charged. Like, you do stupid stuff.
I mean, that's not how you transmit coronavirus anyway. But
and also people like as far as I'm aware, this challenge has died off, and rightly so. And apparently there was also other clips like people going around licking toilet seats, like, yeah, you idiots, what are you doing?
Yeah, and so, like some of these are total moral panics, like the Tide Pod challenge or like the knockout game, like they're all fake. It's like one kid did something, and it's like, oh, it's like sweeping the nation. Oh. However,
then again, as a historian, I do have every faith in the stupidity of the human race. But I also have, for every two stupid people, there's at least one smart guy who's counteracting them. So
yeah.
Well, you know, I go back to the old comedian. Imagine the average person and understand that half of them are stupider than that.
George Carlin, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Matchmaker, I do have a question for you specifically. You are, it's no secret that we see the world a little differently. We're good pals who see the world a little differently. You are vociferously anti-mask. You have said multiple times, frankly, in DMs and on stream that you will never ever wear a mask if you can avoid it. And I would like to know the source of your vociferous opposition.
I don't know half the words you just used. They're very large and
they're like 10th grade words, man. They're like 10th grade words.
I didn't pay any attention in school, and it's probably why I'm smarter than anyone here. Or at least I guess I won't say smarter. Have a more clear reality view. But here's the thing: the mask. I will not. I've worn a mask 2 times, both times to go and get prescriptions so that I can get my heartburn medicine so I can deal with this bullshit. Like tonight, but I did go to a pharmacy that required it, and I walked so far to get there that I said, I guess I will wear the mask. Also, our mutual friend Mariah gifted me a mask twice because I lost one of the 2, and so I do have a mask. I do not want to wear one to a store, but I'm also not going to be one of the people in your clips that goes into a store without a mask. I do. I go all the time without a mask, but with the law now being that it is illegal to do so, and if the store is enforcing that, I won't fight with a staff member of a store. It reminds me of when I was managing a gas station and convenience store, and gas prices went to $4, and the people were taking it out on the gas pumpers like they had any say in it, minimum wage gas pumpers. So I certainly would not do that. But if it isn't being enforced, I'll walk in the store anytime. And I'm happy to say in Portland, where I live, 40 to 45% of the people the last time I was at the store were not wearing a mask. And I certainly was among them. So no, I'm totally opposed to it. Now, I will say this Saturday, as you may know, is the 4th of July, my favorite holiday.
Happy treason against the British Empire Day, everyone.
And by the way, yesterday being Canada Day, I certainly want to send my respects to you there, Harrison.
The Queen.
And but for me, the 4th of July is my favorite holiday anymore since all my family's passed on. And for me, I associate it with baseball, which is not happening right now. I associate it with barbecuing and good food and all that. So obviously this year is different than most, but I am out of hamburger buns, and I'm in a very tough spot that I think in order for me to celebrate my 4th of July, I'm going to have to go to a store. I'm going to have to put on a mask, and I'm going to have to go buy hamburger buns. And so I probably will break my own little rule. I will wear it for that. But I have not left my home since last Wednesday. I did not leave it as of midnight that night because of Governor Cate's rule that you cannot go outside without a mask. So I have not left home in 8 days, and I have no intention to, other than that I got to go get some hamburger buns.
Yeah, so to be clear...
Does Portland not have grocery delivery out there?
They do, but I am on EBT, and unfortunately they are very stupid right now that Fred Meyer is not accepting EBT for grocery delivery, which apparently they either were before this or some stores do and some don't, but the one that I'm trying to go with does not. And so for things like cat litter, I certainly would consider doing the delivery, although the extra $10 is a challenge for me. I essentially live on a zero income. So it is challenging adding anything like that. But I looked into it. I was all ready to place a large delivery order, and I could not do it because of that.
Well, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry to hear
So let me get this straight. Again, I don't live in the States, so you guys, most of you guys live in, I want to say, the northwestern part of the United States, like Oregon.
Well, Dusty lives in Cornland, aka Nebraska.
Kansas?
Nebraska. Okay. Yeah.
I hear corn, I instantly think Kansas. So, and your state governor has made it mandatory that you all have to wear masks when you go outside?
"Quote unquote" mandatory. There's no legal penalty if you don't. Well, it's not even if you go outside. It's if you go to an indoor place of business, essentially.
As of July 1st, I was told that it is if you go outside now.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that. Yeah. But
YouTube, Matchmaker, I can understand your frustration because the past 3 months, like I'm a conservative Christian Baptist, and during this time, up until recently, my family and I wasn't allowed to go to our church, and that's very, very annoying because a lot of all my friends go there, and one, I can't worship, and two, I can't see them.
Sure.
And then just like the past 3 weeks, they've allowed us to go, but we're only allowed to have so many people inside the building, like not even like I want to say that a good 150, 200 people attend my church, and we're only allowed to have like 25 or 30 people in there maximum during the services, and we all have to wear masks when we go in there, and I find masks to be very uncomfortable.
Same.
And also since I wear glasses, like I know everyone can't see me right now because I'm a disembodied voice on the internet once again, but I wear glasses, and when I wear my masks, it's constantly fogging up my glasses, and I can't see and I can't breathe. It's very annoying, and yeah, I can understand your frustration, Matchmaker.
Yeah, well,
you do know you're on camera, right?
First of all, Harrison, I probably didn't explain to you. Yes, we're live and you are on camera. We're just showing the.
I am. So
yeah, we're showing the Discord call. But
so everyone can see this. Oh, should clean that up.
Yes.
Ignore the clutter. I've been redecorating.
Everyone, meaning all 6 people that Matchmaker invited over from his chat, but.
That'll probably never come back to mine again.
That's fine. That's fine. We don't care. We do these for fun. But anyway, yeah, that's a real.
Never come back to mine.
No, Harrison. I just real quick. I want to ask. So that's a really good point about the churches thing, because one of the biggest outbreaks in Oregon was at a church when they opened. They opened essentially, quote unquote, too early, and nobody's wearing masks. And there was a massive outbreak, and they had like 150 cases or whatever in some like rural eastern part of Oregon.
I fully understand why we're doing it, and to an extent, I agree with it. Sorry to betray you, Matchmaker, but yeah,
not at all.
I am on your side, but again, it feels like I'm being my freedom of religion is being encroached upon. This.
Well, it is. It is in respect for your physical health, I would say. And I guess it's just a question of like which of those two things do you prioritize, I guess. Personally, I listen to the doctors and like the epidemiologists. I understand some other people listen to the priests and the fathers, and I'm not hating on that. That's just it's a different way to see the world.
Yeah, and also like. I really can't wait for that whole thing to blow over. I had a dentist appointment like earlier, like last month. Sorry, he's eating sandwiches.
I'm hungry.
I had a dentist appointment, and my dentist office texted me and said like, "Oh, yeah, this is your bi-yearly reminder that you have a dentist appointment." But when you get there, just knock on the door. The door's going to be locked, and once you get, and please wear a mask. Like, okay, I understand that they're doctors and they have to go to people's mouths. But then I had to like sign I had to like do this like whole check mark thing. Like, no, I've not encountered anyone with COVID-19. No, I have not come down with it. No, I have not been anywhere. No, I'm not the boss. I'm signing triplicates. And then I was like I was led into the building and immediately escorted into the room and got my teeth done, and then left. But then like they had like all these plastic shields up around like the reception desk, like just in case it sneezes. And like, oh boy.
I mean,
some places maybe.
Also, like they even have those in my local ice cream shop. They have those plastic things up there, and also they're not allowing anyone to pay with cash. It's either card or nothing.
Yeah, the bike shop I went to today was actually the same. Hey, I saw my first Karen. I saw my first Karen freak out today at the bike shop.
You survived?
I did. I took.
My condolences, sir.
So I rolled my roommate Jordan's bike down to the bike shop because he's graciously loaned it to me if I just get the tubes fixed. And they had like a very specific protocol. It was like everyone was wearing shields and like you have to walk this certain way around the store. And like personally, I'm fine with all that. Like I don't care. I'm here to get this bike fixed. I will do whatever fucking protocol you need me to do. So I did it, and I bought a bike helmet, which I'll put on after the break, and and a bike lock, and yes, as I was leaving, this old very fat man, probably mid-70s, extremely tubby, was saying to the clerk, he was like, I bought 6 bikes from this store. I don't need a guided tour. I'll never buy another bike here again. And the clerk...
you saw a male Karen.
Yes, exactly. And the clerk was like, okay. You can always tell the guys who have never worked retail because they're always like yelling at some retail worker like as if they give a fuck. They're always like, I'm so angry, I'm never gonna shop here again. And the retail clerk is like, bye. I don't care. Get out of my life. Yeah. So yeah, that was fun.
I remember when I my first job wasn't really a job; it was a volunteer. But I worked at a used bookstore, and fortunately, I never had to deal with anything like that. So, to all the people who had to work in retail, to all my good friends who have worked at Tim Hortons, that's the Canadian coffee chain. Americans.
Tim Hortons.
My sincerest condolences.
Matchmaker Brett the Hitman Hart knows about Tim Hortons.
Yeah. Tim Horton.
Yeah, I'm talking about Tim Hortons. Apparently, my hometown has the most Tim Hortons shops. Like I think we have like most per like square mile in all of Canada. We have like I think we have like 23 of them just in like the square 50 kilometers around my house. It's like, we got all of them. Like, we got like 23 of them, like within 50 kilometers of each other. Like it's frankly ridiculous. But then again, it's good stuff.
That's ridiculous. That's very ridiculous.
It is.
It's like it's the Canadian Dunkin' Donuts, basically, right?
It's the Canadian Starbucks.
Yeah, I'd say Starbucks.
On the East Coast, Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I've heard about...
I'm in the Midwest.
I've heard about Dunkin' Donuts, but I've never seen it.
We have none of those here anymore. I grew up on a Dunkin' Donuts, but there's only like 1 or 2, and now they're all gone from here. But when I took a Greyhound across the country from Portland, Oregon to Portland, Maine, we went through a bunch of those, and there were literally across the street from each other Dunkin' Donuts in some places. Literally like kitty corner. Crazy.
Oh, boy.
Well, boys,
we don't have any of that ridiculousness.
Boys, I got to kill this call because I have to bring on my actual co-host, Podcast Josh, who I can only bring on via Skype. So
okay.
So
have Skype.
He does have a Discord, but he's never on it. So He was the fifth man. That's an NWO reference. Their matchmaker, but yeah, I am going to have to kill this call, and I'm going to go to a break, and I'll be back on later if anybody wants to chat after I'm done chatting with Josh on the final segment of the show.
Did I give you enough sound bites for your show? Did I give you enough sound bites that you're going to be able to use?
I had some fantastic sound bites. You fucking Nazi, you fascist, you fucking fascist, Sal Hennig, and your fascist cooking.
Keep your door locked. I don't want your roommate banging down the door.
Long live the king.
The only reason why he would.
I can't hear anything. I'm hanging up.
Fuck you. Enjoy your fucking food.
I will enjoy my food.
There enjoying supper.
I will enjoy it when Trump loses too.
Yeah, well, I
nice. Get what, 350 to whatever.
It's very possible. It's very possible he'll lose, and a lot, and the reason why again.
I'm out of that call. In fact, that call is going away right now. Bam. All right, everybody. We're going to cut to a break, and then afterwards, we're going to call Podcast Josh. I suspect they're all just going to keep on talking to each other on Discord. It's nice bringing people together like that. I like it. I have to quit the Discord for now. But yes, we're going to go to a break, and then we're going to come back on and bring on Podcast Josh.
Everything that keeps me together is falling apart. I got this thing that I consider my only art of fucking people over. My boss just quit the job, says he's going out to find blind spots and he'll do it. Third planet is sure they're being watched by an eye in the sky. It can't be stopped. When you get to the promised land, you're gonna shake that eye's hand. Your heart felt good. It was dripping pitch and made of wood. And your hands and knees felt cold and wet on the grass to me. Outside, naked, shivering, looking blue from the cold sunlight that reflected off the moon. Baby, come, angels fly around you, reminding you we used to be three and not just two. And that's how the world began. And that's how the world will end. A third had just been made, we were swimming in the water. Didn't know then that was how nervous of a daughter. When it occurred to me that the animals are swimming around in the water, in the oceans, in our bodies. And that another had been found, another ocean on the planet. Given that our blood is just like the Atlantic. And how the universe is shaped exactly like the earth. If you go straight long enough, you'll end up where you were. And the universe is shaped exactly like the earth. If you go straight long enough, you'll end up where you were. And the universe is shaped exactly like the earth. And your heart felt good. It was dripping pitch and made of wood. And your hands and knees felt cold and wet on the grass to me. And you're outside, naked, shivering, looking blue from the cold sunlight that reflected off the moon. Baby, come, angels around you, reminding you we used to be three and not just two. And that's how the world began. And that's how the world will end. A third had just been made, we were swimming in the water. Didn't know it was a son or was it a daughter. When it occurred to me the animals are swimming around in the water, in the oceans, in our bodies. And another had been found, another ocean on the planet. Given that our blood is just like the Atlantic. And how the universe is shaped exactly like the earth. If you go straight long enough, you'll end up where you were. And the universe is shaped exactly like the earth. If you go
Hey, y'all. All right. Calling our buddy Josh. We might add some other folks to the call. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Who can say? Who can say?
What up, dude?
Josh!
What up, dude? Are you already on again?
It is podcast Josh. Yes, we're on. Yes, we are on. In all disclosure.
Nice. Your breaks are getting shorter and shorter. Good for you.
Yeah. It's been a fun night, man. Are you opposed to adding anybody else to the call?
Oh, I don't care, man.
I know you don't. I know you don't give a fuck. You don't give no fucks. I know that. All right. I'm gonna add that guy.
Sorry, I don't have Discord, man. That would have been fun.
Oh, god damn it, man! God damn, you have a Discord. You're just never on it.
No, I have it, but like, I just didn't even know you were trying to call me. Remember last time, like, cause like fucking, I don't know, something with my phone, cause I just got that little cheap ass fucking tablet that I use it on.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
I'm technically deficient in that.
All right. Well, it would not allow me to add Dusty, who said he wanted to come on to the call. Let me just try dialing his number. 555 fuck me, everybody. That's Dusty's number. All right. Well, we'll try.
Oh, you're not live.
No, we're actually right now. We're completely live. Yeah. Yes. All right.
No, it's still saying we'll be right back on my thing. It's streaming live.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Dusty, you're here.
Oh, dude, you gotta warn me.
You said to invite you.
No, I did not say that.
Yes, you did.
But now I'm playing video games. So.
Okay. Well,
I said right, that's what I said.
I literally have a text that says "invite me" from you.
No, you don't.
Okay. So if you have to, if you gotta go, that's fine.
Bye.
All right. Hi, Lisa. How's it going? Good talk.
Right on, man. That's content right there.
That's so dumb. Okay. Oh, what the fuck is up, man? Yeah, I did not mean to get to you so late in the show. There was a lot. There was a lot to talk about. I'll be honest. No,
honestly, it's giving me a good time to warm up. Yeah. Got quite a few beers in now. Pretty good.
Perfect. So where do you want to go first? Do you want to go Corona? Do you want to go 5G? Do you want to go mask compliance? What? Do you want to go Trump and Russia? You tell me.
Your show, man. I just follow your lead.
All right. Well, fuck it up, man. Well, fuck it up, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Corona and how the United States fucked it up. Dude, we fucked it the fuck up as much as anybody can fuck anything the fuck up. We fucked this up as bad as anybody can do anything. All right, we did it as bad as like some like third rate like African like poor country did, and I don't mean that in like some racist way or whatever. Like that was we're like the richest country in the world, and we treated this like Nigeria probably treated it.
I mean, I can understand your point where you say like, can you hear me? All right, am I good?
Yeah, cool. You're on fine. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, no, I can understand your point where you're saying like, fuck it, we fucked it up. We should have shut down a lot sooner. We should have just gave everybody this money. I understand like all these people are now going through the evictions process and shit. We all kind of knew that was coming. Fucking like, it was like Macy's had like fucking 1.4 billion in like rent or something that they had to pay for every fucking one of their stores, and they were like, nah, and you're like, I mean, inside of us all, we were like, yeah, well, they've got the fucking lawyers and shit, they're gonna fucking post that off as far as they can, they're gonna make payment or whatever the fuck, but like, the average person ain't gonna be able to fucking do that shit. Nobody can just go out and hire a lawyer when you ain't got money to pay your fucking rent, Of
course.
So it's like, unless all these lawyers are gonna take that shit pro bono, but so they should have had something in play. And then I can understand like Ed's point where he's saying like, hey, fucking, like they just gave us all this money, which is ridiculous. Like I said at what point of like, is this lockdown creating this whole sense of like, oh man, you know, why are we opening back up? It's not ready yet because like we still get that 600 and we lose that, or is it more of just like, you know, you fear for your life? You know, we discussed this and said, you know, we know that both of us aren't probably going to contract it and die from it, but it's not all about us, you know, so that's why we wear masks for other people. It's just showing that you're like, have some sort of compassion and empathy for other people's like well-being and sense of, you know, like just sense of like fucking respect for their space, you know, like that's all it's doing. It's like, you know, coughing in public, you cover your mouth, but that's you were taught that growing up anyway, you know, like when you cough just to keep that shit from flying in someone else's space, you know, like, so I mean, so in some sense I can understand where you're like, all right, we shouldn't have shut down. So like at some point in me, it's just like, you know, I wouldn't have cared, you know, if I just stayed out, because like it was like, you know, the strong and the healthy survive, and if it's going to kill off everyone else, it's just kind of everything else does that shit too. So like, I don't know. I mean, I can understand both sides, you know, but with the second round of stimulus, you know, like they're trying to make it more of a, hey, we're just going to give you this to help you get through the tough part of the time, because it's going to be a slow reopen. We know it's going to take some time to get back to your normal hours, your normal paychecks that you were getting before all this shit. So like, just give you the money, and then that way you're like, all right, it's not like, oh, I'm just going to stay unemployed for a couple more weeks until the 600 runs out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I can understand both. Like, they should have just gave us a bunch of money, or just said, this is what everyone's going to get, whether you're working or not working. They should have come up with some sort of like something that's fair, because, you know, because even if it's not even a race, like now it's like working class versus non-working class, you know, like the Amazon drivers are pissed off because they're out there working their ass off doing overtime now because everyone's ordering shit through delivery services. And then like fucking we're sitting there just collecting just as much as they are for doing a goddamn thing. Nothing, you know, just being selfless Americans, you know, that's, so I mean, it's creating this other sort of divisiveness between like, you know, the working culture versus the non-working right now, just because it's like, you know, we didn't get in the service industry because we like knew one day there was going to be a pandemic that's going to put us on this unemployment that's going to get us a lot of money. You know, we just assume we get in the restaurant business and you learn that shit because it's like, I can go anywhere I want in the world and fucking cook, you know, like,
sure.
That's why you get into it, because you enjoy it. You like, you know, you like making good food, but then also because you can take that anywhere you want, you know, and go there. So, I mean, I think that's why, like, we all did it. We never thought like this is what's going to happen, you know, like shit. I came from a place where it was like servers made $2.35 an hour, and then fucking the 15% was actually a livable thing, you know, but
okay. So,
I don't know.
So you kind of seem like you're getting around to the idea that like the extra 600 a month was like too much for like the like lower, the lower folks, like the,
it's way too much.
Underclasses. Like I just don't see it that way.
Extra 600 a week.
I just don't see it that way.
An extra 600 a week.
Yeah.
An extra 600 a week.
Okay, so like, why is that like some like horrifying figure? Like, I don't get that.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a horrifying figure. I'm saying it does create a disincentive to go back to work. You know, like the whole like, you know, unemployment process is like, if you're laid off or if it's temporary or whatever, you know, you still like, you know, you're still wanting to find a job. Like, you know, construction, you know, in the wintertime, you're going to lose a lot of your construction shit. So either you find a second job to like tide you over, or you just go for that unemployment, which is only like, you know, like 60% of what your wages were. I don't even think it's that much, but you know, it's, whatever they claim, they say is 60%. They want all your fucking wages, but they probably take taxes out and then give you 60% of that, you know, like that's probably how they fucking do their math or something. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's a lot. So like, instead of like, you know, I think like that's why I said the second stimulus, they're trying to catch up for what they fucked up on the first. Like, I didn't think they thought it all the way through in the first one. So like, it did create a disincentive to get back to work, that want to work, you know, and like just this, I don't know, like it's awesome that no one has to worry about money. I don't think anyone should ever have to worry about money, how they're going to pay their rent or pay their bills. Like, I think if anybody goes to work and puts in an honest day's work, they should just be able to fucking live. And then like anything extra is something extra they need.
Yeah,
but I'm the one that I would never buy like fancy cars and shit like that. You know, I don't need.
Okay, that's not the system we had before. Before we had a system where we told everyone they can't go to work, and we were giving them unemployment, and poverty went down. Like, how fucked up a system is that?
No, it's fucked up because, like, I mean, they just build their national average based on the national average. But if they chopped out that top, like, 5% and then chopped out the bottom 5%, then create a new national average. And then they start figuring that shit out. Like, I mean, the whole problem is that they're so disconnected with what fucking really happens in the world. You know, I know, like Ed said, he's got more sense of reality than everyone else, but like, I don't know what reality is actually. I guess sometimes, but
I want to ask you about that, but yeah.
You know, I just think like, you know, like if they were actually like see what happens, they know that these communities are shitty. You know, like they could pump so much money into these communities and force like people out, people being on the streets, you know, like have functions, and you know, that way everyone's getting out and seeing each other. That way, like, you know, people that are coming around just robbing gangs, all this other shit, like it gives them, like, they have to go into hiding. They're not going to have the opportunity to come out, you know, like, so there's things that they could do to pump money into it to like promote like positive community, like togetherness, versus just like, you know, like a policing, you know, like, oh, what we need to do is put more bars on the windows on these storefronts, you know, like, you know, I don't get it. Like, there's so much more that they could do, but I just think that like they just say shit and it's like an idea, and then they fucking just say the idea, and then they're like, yeah, let's write it into a law, but they never actually like try to implement it. They don't have like a testing sector where they try it out, or, you know, I don't think that they think that the policy's all the way through. So when they write that shit, it's always open for interpretation. It's always open for this. There's no like, this is what it is. This isn't, you know, like there just needs to be a more definitive thing.
What do you think about
stupidity needs to be illegal?
What do you think about the European Union barring Americans from travel to the EU?
Right, that's what they want to do, man. Fuck it. You know, I don't look at it as like a slap in the face. I look at it as somebody protecting theirs. You know, every country's free to do what they want. You know?
Is it like justified? Like,
I don't know. Our shit's getting worse. So, like, I mean.
Yeah.
If they're saying it's because our handling of the coronavirus and our safety of our people, and like our shit is going up and it keeps going up, like we did it to anyone else, we did it to everyone else. Why can't they do it to us?
Well, you said they're saying.
And then why are we going to be upset?
You said they're saying. Do you think it's actually like? Do you think it's legitimate, or is it just like, quote unquote, they're saying?
What do you mean, like it's not real? Like we're not really allowed to go?
No. I'm saying, like, do you take the coronavirus as a real threat to human health? I guess.
I believe that people are taking it as a real threat. So
okay,
it doesn't really matter what I think when the majority of the people are saying, like, hey, I think this is a big deal. So the majority of people in the world are saying, yeah, it's a big deal. Then I'm going to say, well, I guess it's a big deal to the majority of the people, so I'll just go along with it. You know, like. I don't know, you know me, I'm laid back as fuck. I don't really give a shit about that much, you know, like,
sure.
So it's like, if they say, like, this is what it is, I'm going to be like, all right, cool. And they're like, oh, don't go to work. I'm like, well, I don't know. I kind of got to work. And they're like, well, we'll give you some money. I'm like, well, I'll take it, you know, and then I guess I won't go to work. So, like, I just do what, you know, but I did the good things, and I bought, like, you know, a bunch of disposable masks, and I bought a bunch of, like, regular fabric masks. So, like, I use that money to, like, do what they wanted me to do so that I feel like, you know, I don't know, everyone's warm and fuzzy because I put my mask on, I guess, you know? Like,
sure.
Regardless of what I believe, I don't think my beliefs matter in this one because it's the majority, and the majority rules in a democracy. And if we're going to have a real democracy, we should really, like, let the majority rule, you know?
Well, but I mean, I'm not asking about what the majority believes. I'm asking what you believe about, you know, coronavirus and the masks and so forth. Like, I prefer to hear your thoughts about it.
I mean, I'm with you on the experts, right? So I'm with you on the experts. If the experts say that this is what it is, then I'm with the experts as well. I'm not going to sit there and read some blog and fucking go along with the conspiracy theories behind it. I'll read the conspiracy theories and be like, oh, you know, that makes sense, you know, like, but, you know, to think that Kate Brown actually fucking pulled this shit off on her own is stupid as fuck to believe. I don't care how many people write it, you know, like, I'll never believe that she is smart enough to do that shit.
You know what's weird is like left or
like,
right.
Even though she tells Trump that he doesn't even know how to be a governor, that like I don't even know if she knows how to be a governor.
Yeah,
no governor would say we're gonna open up and then like fucking wait 10 hours before the opening up of the city to say, oh, you know what, never mind.
Oh, okay. So
that's just somebody that's listening to a bunch of naps in her ear talk and shit.
So everybody, what Josh is talking about is Multnomah County was scheduled to open, I want to say June 12th. And I think it was
Right.
8. I think it was 8 p.m. on June 11th when Kate said no, it was going to be an extra week. And
She
that
tweeted it. She didn't even fucking make an announcement. She tweeted it.
probably screwed over a lot of small businesses. But yeah, I don't know, frankly, leftists or rightists who really actually even like what she's doing. It's really crazy to see.
Well, businesses is the reason that she opened it up the week later. I mean, they were already pissed that she cost them a lot of money, but you know, so they were already pissed. And then she's like, "Oh, okay, here you go." And it's like, fucking, that's one of those too late things. You know, you can't say that now. You know.
Yeah. What do you think about California closing down? Like 19
Yeah.
counties.
No, I mean, I get it. It's like, what is it? The UK now is starting to like. The UK is starting to like fine people on like public transit $100, $100 fine for not fucking wearing their masks now. So like, if you're on public transit there and you're on the fucking train, you know, it's like being out here on the max. You know, like if you're on the train, like no one's there to fucking say a goddamn word to you. You know, like it's like it's kind of like the police department's already been abolished and we're just left to self-police and be like, hey man, you got a mask? Oh, you know, so I pull out my disposables. Hey, you want one? You know, and I just want them to tell me fuck you to my face. That's all I'm asking for. It's just like, if you're going to do it, just say it to my face, you know, like,
yeah.
I got a lot more respect for anyone, regardless of who they are, what their beliefs are, if they just say it out loud instead of just hiding it and then fucking like, you know, trying to act like this sneaky little fucker. Like, I just want you to know that I'm not letting you get away with it without like, you know, I'm not going to walk by you like everyone else. I'm just going to make the motion with the mask, let everyone see me make the motion with the mask, and then let you tell me and everyone else, fuck you all, fake, or whatever you want to say, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy to see.
It doesn't
like
bother me personally, but it's just one of those, like, it's a mutual respect thing. And anytime you see anyone being disrespected, no matter what it is, you're just like, fuck, you know? It's like seeing a man yell at a woman and they're really close and you're like, oh shit, he's about to slap the shit out of her, but you don't want to like get involved just yet. So you just kind of stand across the street to make sure nothing happens, you know?
Dude.
Because the second he fucking raises his hand, you're going to go running across and be like, whoa, man, you know?
Dude, a bum offered to fight me the other day. I got off the Max and I was like walking down to the bus, and it's like
Nice.
it's like this like curving sort of path down towards like the bus stop, and this bum is sitting there. This bum is sitting there, and he's got like a wheelbarrow full of stuff, and he's absolutely housing like a pastry, and I was wearing my mask, and I guess like he looked up and I was looking at him, and I like immediately like looked away as people do, and he was like, he was like, "You got a problem, you little bitch?" And I just like kept going. I was like, first of all,
that's why you just maintain the eye contact and give them the nod and how you doing. Now you got to say it louder though. Like I can't just like mouth the how you doing and just like mumble it so that they kind of get it now, because no one sees that shit now with the masks on. So now you got to be like, how you doing? And like really loud for them, and just like a quick nod, and then squint your eyes like you're just like blinded from the sun, just so it looks like you're smiling, you know, like you just fake a smile by squinting, you know.
Yeah, I guess I was so.
Like, you don't really have to smile. You can tell them fuck you and just squint your eyes. Fuck you, and then squint your eyes. I think you just said something nice, like thank you or something.
I guess I was so surprised it happened. I just like kept walking, and I was like, first of all, no, I don't have a problem. Second of all, I'm not sleeping in a tent tonight. So, winner me.
But really, is it?
I mean, yes, because I didn't.
Wendell has a freedom that you and I don't understand. You know.
I know. Yeah, the freedom to camp indefinitely.
Mr. Wendell, yeah.
Nice.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh, I know Arrested Development. So yes. Yeah. What do you think about the 5G causes corona? Theory out there, because this is something I've come across. I'm not going to use that big C word.
5G.
That big C.
Oh, the 5G.
I'm not going to use.
Is that like the 4G?
No, it's so 4G means fourth generation. 5G means fifth generation.
Yeah. So the fifth generation causes it.
I'm not going to use that big scary C word, but what do you think about that hypothesis that's out there?
sounds pretty fucking dumb. I mean,
I agree.
I feel like if they had any kind of way to like control brain waves or like anything like that, and they needed a different frequency, maybe that kind of shit would work. But it would be like more to control thoughts and like buying patterns to get you to like feed the economy more. They wouldn't use it as like a fucking like way to get people sick.
Yeah, it's more like Google and Facebook targeted
There's
ads.
like better, easier ways. Like just fucking like just dust like the main like crop areas or something, you know, like because everybody's eating food. So like if you injected it into plants' genetic DNA or something, you know, like do it that way. Like I wouldn't fucking like put it through like a fucking cell phone. That just sounds stupid to me. They just sounds completely retarded. I think that would be more of a mind control. Like by the time they get more shit, like the VR, you know, it's just like. I don't know, like that. I think that kind of shit, the subliminal pictures they can pump in the back to like advertise for like, I don't know, like kind of like how movies and shit do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, no. Do you ever notice how like you search for like, I don't know, whatever, midget porn or whatever it is, and then the next ad you see on your Google is like midget porn related. Well, oh, weird. Oh, that's strange.
No,
like that's a lot more sinister than 5G.
The other day. I was looking for a good chef knife the other day, and fucking now all of a sudden I get all these like ads for like, you know, the $139.99 originally like $1,200 knife and shit, and you're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like those aren't the ones I want. I wanted a really good one now. Now they're sending me all these like generic knockoff like fucking Japanese knives made with like this fucking weak ass, not even German steel, but
as I think I've said to you before, I have never ever once in my life Googled hair replacement or like baldness cure or anything like that. I think my camera was just looking at me because it started showing me like targeted ads for like, oh, like replace your hair, like oh, like fix your hairline and shit. Like that's way.
You never were going through like fucking, I don't know, Amazon, I guess that's what people shop on. So like going through Amazon, all of a sudden it's just like items, you know, like you might like or some shit, and then all of a sudden they just throw a wig in there.
Nope.
And you clicked on it just to see if it was real hair or some shit.
Nope. Never.
I don't know. I believe the camera can do that shit though, you know. But
never.
I've talked
Never
with my phone in my pocket before. I've talked about shit in my phone and then all of a sudden like ads started popping up. Like never Googled it or nothing. I've done that shit before. I don't know, man. Them motherfuckers tell me like where I work and shit. They send me a map location of everything I've done last year and shit. It's like, fuck, if they've got it, dude, then like, I don't know, man. If the cops show up at your door, you know you're already had. Dude. Like there's no way around it. You're fucked. Like, oh, what'd you do last week? I'm like, oh, you already know what I did last year, motherfucker. Like, the question is how many minutes was I there when you thought I was there? You know, like, fuck.
Josh, I gotta take 45. I will probably mute the call and play a little buffer music, if you will.
A 45-second break.
That's the idea. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought it meant like 45 minutes, man. I'm like, shit.
I know.
It's being on hold with the unemployment office all over again, except a lot shorter.
Yeah, I'll be back in less than a minute.
All right.
Do you mind muting yourself?
Man.
If you can,
some video games.
If you can, it's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
I think there's a button on here.
man, what's up, guys? All right, we're gonna bring Josh back on. Hopefully he is listening. We don't know that for a fact. I will endeavor to unmute myself. I think I'm unmuted. Josh, are you there?
I'm unmuted as well.
Nice. Whoa. Hey.
I'm trying to do like what I normally never do and go back through the chat. Apparently no one's heard of a magazine mask because autocorrect turns MAGA mask into magazine.
I have not looked at the chat.
I was curious.
2 hours.
I was curious if Ed wore a magazine, like a MAGA mask out in public. I wonder if he has like a big MAGA mask.
He seems fairly adamant against wearing masks at all.
Yeah, no, but if he was to wear one, I figured he would just do it in a trolling kind of way.
It would probably be
kind of like the MAGA hat is just like a fucking instant like sucker to like just say, yeah, I'm trying to start shit. Like you're doing it like just to start shit, really.
100%. Yeah.
Unless you're going to like a big rally or something, I think. But.
So Trump retweeted somebody saying white power.
Yeah, that was fucking stupid.
That was kind of weird. Do you have any thoughts about that?
That's typical Trump. Doesn't. I don't know. I feel like it's a lot like a lot of politicians. They want to stay current on a bunch of shit, so they just kind of skim headlines and like just read the bullet points. But like, they forget to read the last two where the one says, "Oh, the whole crowd was chanting white power." They just skip through and it just says, "Oh yeah, they were talking about how Trump was the best," and blah blah. He's like, "Oh man, these people are awesome." So he just like retweets that shit, just like he does with his press briefings. He doesn't give a thought about like sounding ignorant as fuck at the end because he's just like, "Whoa, like."
Do you think
like I feel like people can't claim ignorance as a fucking like ignorance isn't part of the legal system, right? You can't claim ignorance to the law. So like how can you claim ignorance to like your shit that you're putting out as the president? Like it's just stupid, like
do you think Trump watched that video before he retweeted it?
No, God no.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah. I think it just said, oh, they're showing great support from the villages, and Trump was like, "Oh, the villages, I know them." Ah.
He might have been sitting on his planer and his chopper, like eating a fucking Big Mac and some fries or something, and dropped the phone in between the couch when they started chanting or something. Like I don't know. So he didn't hear that part.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
I think that's probably accurate. Do you think that's a problem if the president is retweeting stuff that he hasn't watched?
Yeah, no, it's stupid. Like, it's stupid for him to be tweeting half the shit he tweets, and anybody that thinks that, like, it's awesome and, like, their selling points, like, their thoughts, yeah, Like, don't get me wrong, us as people, we all fucking think just crazy, stupid shit, like, but do we really want it to happen? No, like fucking, like this person in front of you is being stupid. So you're like, I wish he would just walk in from that bus because he keeps walking with the cell phone zigzagging or some shit, trying to maintain social distance here, Now what the fuck, There's like 12 feet of sidewalk and you're in the middle 2 foot, I got nowhere to go except the street,
Right.
So it's just even worse now. But I don't know. But yeah, no, it's stupid for him to say like half the shit he says. I agree with that. Matter of fact, I was golfing the other day with a friend of mine, like first time golfing this season or whatever, and we're out there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, so you gonna vote for Trump this year?" And I was just like, "No, I don't think I can, dude, unless something really bad happens,
Whoa,
like."
Whoa! That's news. You're not voting for Trump this year, huh?
No, I can't, dude. There's no way in hell you can.
Well,
like
hold
everything.
Back the truck up. You were one of the biggest supporters in 2016. What changed?
No, fuck you, dude. I told you. I've said it many times. I'll say it one more time. This is it. Everything I thought that Trump was going to do, he didn't do, right? He wanted to make America great. I thought he knew all the legal loopholes to fight for big businesses, and he knew that it was fucked up and all this shit. I thought, like, the biggest ego fucking boost would have just been piss all the rich people off, and then, like, the majority of people in the country would have loved his ass, and we would have fucking built statues up for him and shit, like, because that's what we do here. And, eventually we would have ripped it down, but for now we would build one, but, like, fucking... And he didn't do any of that. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was just like, oh, this would be awesome. Somebody who's not a politician, go in there and just tell the politicians, look, you guys are a bunch of fuckers. Like, quit fucking bickering like a bunch of kids. This is what we're trying to fix here. You know, I thought he would have just done it just like a business, you know, like just go in and just revamp that shit. But, you know, I was completely
remember
wrong.
saying that in
And
2016. Yeah.
no, I mean, that was the reasoning, you know, like, because you're tired of the same old bullshit, you know, like, you don't want to see the same politician. Actually, like, this year, I would love to see, like, just some random independent, whether it's a Democrat drop out and just go in independent, or a fucking Republican drop down and go independent. Just somebody, like, in the middle that's just got more sense of fucking, like, what's really happening, and just more in touch, and, like, not needing to know everything, but just, like, taking advice of the experts and saying, hey, this is probably the best move for this, and this would be the better for the greater good, you know, and like actually think about, like, you know, the people, instead of just fucking like just the rich staying rich, and how can we make companies do what they can do, you know, like anytime a company makes more money off their employees in the inside of one building, you know, like it's insane, you know, like if they've got like 100 locations, and say like each employee in each location, they've got like, you know, 50, right? And you take like 80,000 of that just out of that one fucking location, and you pay the lowest paid employee 20,000, dude, and you're getting more money out of that location than that employee, regardless of the business, you know, like it's fucking stupid, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
That's not even to mention like healthcare and shit. Like, fuck it. Like it's all a scam, dude, just to like make money off of everybody else. Like that's all it is, dude. Like that's how people get rich. And the fact that they get rich and they feel that they're fucking entitled to that shit, you know, just because they have an idea, that's great. But like anytime I think I have an idea, I would bring up every single person around me, and any person working for me would be worth that shit, you know, like, cause I would be the guy scrubbing toilets too, you know, like I wouldn't care. I would do whatever I needed to do to just like do that. And if you just kept it in one community, you don't need that shit all worldwide, because like there should be at least somebody like you in every town and every country and every state or whatever the fuck you go to. If there isn't a person like you, it'll never work.
Hang on. It's the most fun to me on these shows when you espouse to be like a big Trump supporter, but you talk like Che Guevara. Like
I'm not a Trump supporter. I understand what he says sometimes, and like I understand like when he says stupid shit, and like, you know, obviously he's trying to campaign, and like he doesn't know how to do it virtually. You know, he just knows how to pump up a crowd, because like, you know, he's like a fucking rap artist, or like any fucking like, you know, anybody who's famous goes on stage and they can say whatever the fuck they want in the mic, and everybody will be like, yeah, you know, as soon as they stop. It doesn't matter what they say. You know, just because they're already like known. So like when he's out in the fucking crowd, everybody's already going to see him. So of course it's going to be loud, you know, and it's just a matter of how many people, you know, like numbers.
Would you like to share any thoughts about his disregard of COVID for his Tulsa rally, at which most likely Herman Cain contracted coronavirus?
Well, I mean, Tulsa allowed it, right? We left it up to the governors. The governor could have probably shut that down if he wanted to. I mean, he felt the political pressure, because that's what it is. It's not about the people. It's all about the politics.
He took his leader's lead.
So,
absolutely.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but at the beginning, though, like Trump's like, I'm not going to get involved with shutting down the economy. Like, you know, I don't want to shut it down. I don't think it's stupid. You know, like, but like, you know, the governors are the ones that get to make the decisions, you know, and then eventually as it started spreading, everybody started shutting down, you know, like I said, that's what it is. But as progressive as we are, we waited longer than everyone else. Well, not everyone, but, you know, some others. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. Like, leadership falls everywhere. It's not just fucking Trump, though. Like, that's where, like, everyone's just, like, after Trump. It's always Trump's fault or not his fault. Or, like, you know, anytime something good happens, it's always everyone else. You know, like, no one wants to give him credit, you know, where it's due.
You know,
usually,
hang on. You know what? I actually.
And even if you do, that anywhere now, like, you still get shit for it.
I want to give some credit to that, because I actually believe that's true. I think that he's such a central figure to this political era that everything good gets credited to him and everything bad gets attributed to him. And that's probably really actually the case. And really, it's like being the quarterback of a football team. It's like, well, we were 4-12. Well, maybe that's not necessarily your fault. And it's like, well, we were 12-4, maybe in spite of you. Well, you know, Maybe there's a little more nuance possible there. Yeah. So
I would give him credit. I would give him credit to the Me Too movement. I would say he started the Me Too movement. Not him personally. Not him personally.
Accidentally.
But like just that. Just him becoming president and wanting to be president, started that whole especially with the Pussygate tape. Once that was out, dude, it was over, dude.
Yeah. Do you have any?
So yeah, I do think he I'm not saying I've given him credit for it because he'll probably be like, yeah, see, I'm all for the women. I started the Me Too movement. I don't think that shit's gonna happen, but that would be something he would tweet.
Do you have anything? Do you have anything you want to share about the Russia bounty gate, if you will?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, if they're fucking paying Taliban members to fucking murder the troops and shit, I get it. We as a country fund a lot of terrorist operations ourselves. So I don't think it's that big of a deal, I guess, because that's just part of the way that our global countries' militaries operate, I guess, or intelligence or whatever the fuck it is. Who knows, man? I wouldn't be surprised if there's a big fucking central fucking organization of assassins that just murder people that are bad in the world, but I think we need to keep some of them around just because we have to have that shit for distractions for the next thing, because those people aren't perfect, governments aren't perfect, nothing will ever be perfect, but I don't know, whether or not it's true or not, who cares? As far as the meddling goes, I don't care, if it's tampering with votes and shit, big deal. That's a big deal, yes. But as far as just flooding social media with fake news, I don't care. If people are dumb enough to read that shit and believe it, then that's just their fucking fault,
Well, people
believe
people believe a lot of dumb shit on social media. That's clear.
Well, I mean, it's just because people believe the first thing they see. So, as soon as you see it, you don't tweet that shit. You just oh, fuck, and if you only got 5 seconds on the train, and then, you just type in something as soon as you see something, nah, but you got to read that article, then you read another article, then just go to a competing fucking, websites article, read some stupid-ass article on it from The Onion, fake article, and then you just kind of, build your story based on different facts, because every article contains facts, but you got to find the facts and then the opinions and then the fucking insinuations. So there's different shit in articles. Even the news will tell you something in a biased way, because you just listen to the fact of the story and then be well, that's just so sad, right, Jen? Over to you, Dan, at the weather station. Oh yeah, that's right. It's just terrible. But the clouds over here, they're looking beautiful though right now. It's just the way that way that they present it to you is very biased.
I think we as a species need to define bias and what that means.
I think it's a bias. It's more of so if you're influenced by the people around you, right? We're all influenced by people around us. So if you have a bunch of like-minded people in one area, it's already a bias because everyone's more free to make their jokes around the water cooler, as opposed to just being oh, this guy over here fucking loves Trump. He voted for Trump, but I didn't, So if everyone at the station didn't vote for Trump, then it's going to be easier for them to sit there and just bash Trump the whole time and then to make that little Trump joke and not be uncomfortable on air, because that's what they really want is they don't want an uncomfortable moment on air between two anchors, because then it shows. If they want to fight about shit behind the camera, that's fine. But they don't ever want to see that shit,
Right.
Which I think is what's just great is about this shows because we just drink and then fucking eventually it slips, right? You're waiting for the big moment.
And we laugh and wait for the car wreck,
Yeah, nah. Or hit the off air button fast. Just turn it off.
Oh, shut it down. Yes.
Yeah, everybody report it so let's get fucking shut down quick.
Josh, I have to ask you about the actions of the Portland cops. No, not even just the Portland cops, the Oregon cops. The fucking Corvallis motherfuckers who were in the coffee shop who were like, "Fuck you, I'm not going to wear a mask," and also in the North Portland where they're like, "No, I'm going to shoot tear gas at these stupid protesters." I have to ask you what your thoughts.
Well, as a fucking leader of the member of the community, as a fucking, one that protects and serves to protect would be to put on a mask and do the respectful thing, right? So, like, regardless of what Kate Brown says, whether you like her or don't like her, you got to wear a mask. That's what everyone says. So, as a leader of the community, as a cop, you're trying to show the community you care about them, put your fucking mask on, It's kind of like pulling your gun already and shooting them, you already killed them. You don't even know which ones you killed yet. I'm not saying it's like gonna happen, but so for them it's disrespectful as fuck. They should have had their masks on. As far as like the tear gassing and shit, I don't care, man. Like once you start throwing shit and you're a part of that,
you don't care about the tear gas.
I don't care about tear gas, dude. Like once a crowd becomes violent and shit, like that's it, dude. Like there's right ways to do things and wrong ways to do things. To fuck up everything that's already in place is wrong. I like if they want to like abolish it, like I'm not for it at all. But like, or even defund it. Like, you know what I mean? Like how can you defund it unless you already build up community programs? So you can't really defund it until you get the money to fund.
Well, let's talk about what defund actually means. The defund actually means. Maybe the LA like school cops don't actually need missile launchers. That's what defund means. It's not actually like take away all their fucking funding. Like nobody ever said that.
So are you saying that they really have missile launchers? Is that a real thing?
Yes, that's.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
I can pull it up right now if you want. Yes.
No, I mean, I believe if it's a real thing and you say it's confirmed and shit, I believe you, But like at the same time, I'm just like, I don't know if that's real because like, why would you need a missile launcher at school? But then I would still bring up that bank robbery back in L.A. or whatever, back in like the 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, that one time in 1996 when they could have used a missile launcher, and that's why we should like send them like old Iraq War and Afghanistan War shit. Okay, come on.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like one cop on duty at all times could carry a missile launcher just in case, and he could drive to that fucking location, and he's the guy that's in the circle of all these different districts. You know what I mean? Like a SWAT team is only for like a fucking high, like a high fucking what's the word I'm looking for here? High risk situation that you're running into. So they're like, oh, let's call the SWAT because they got fucking Kevlar helmets and shit too.
If the movie if the movie Heat breaks out, essentially, that's what you're getting at.
I'm just saying for situations. I'm not saying that all situations are going to happen. And I'm saying like if you were to build up communities originally, eventually you won't need all that shit. So until like communities actually start becoming and acting like communities, not just fucking, separating themselves and like shunning the other side of town because their houses aren't painted, instead of that, why don't they just like all chip in $20 and fucking go over and paint their house and be like, hey, you want this done? And like, like just do neighborly shit and like help improve their shit. And then that spreads and it eventually spreads on and on and on. So eventually over time it would happen. But like right now we're all too selfish as people to fucking try to do that shit at all, because like nobody gives a fuck. Like you walk down the street, everybody closes their blinds and shit sometimes, like just because nobody gives a fuck because, they don't trust anybody, like I think we've as a society have just been taught like over time that you can't trust the next person next to you. So like we're more likely to think the worst out of someone before we think the best, and I think that is the biggest problem. And until you can even like control that in general, like nothing will ever be fixed.
So,
you know what I mean?
Okay. Yes, I do. So
I think that sounded more like a rant.
No. We've got a few minutes. Let's talk about what that looks like. President Josh, what does that look like to fix urban communities? Go.
I don't know. Fuck. I mean, like I don't know. Like I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you how it does it. But like, it would definitely like take a lot of like talking community itself and be like, what do you need? What do you want? Like, what would you like to see? what pisses you off right now, and I'm sure most of it would just be like income and like just jobs or something, but like after you like tackle like money, all right, money's cool, like money's done, like then what, it's like, oh, you can't own a house like because you don't have credit. Oh, you want to start owning property. So we start looking into ways to like just giving like lower income or like, just, I don't even want to say minorities because like all lower income in general, but like I don't want it to flood with just, certain people. You know what I mean? Like
there's no
got to
war,
be like a
there's no
percentage.
war but the class war. There's no war but the class war.
Exactly, but there's going to be so many people flooding it that like there's only certain amount of like because if you implement something like that, then everyone's going to be just like the stimulus checks or like the unemployment, like, oh, I've been taking forever, I still haven't got my check, and you don't want to implement something and not have people. So like you could create jobs early on, but like it would have to start with just like taking down big business, man, like insurance companies and shit, like whether it would be government controlled or just like
I thought you
you
were
buy
a Trump
insurance
guy.
through-
I thought you were a Trump guy. I thought you.
charge insurance through, like, no, I'm saying there's better ways to do it. I'm a realist, man. Like, I've always been a realist. I'm not a Trump guy. Like, I'm only a Trump guy in the sense that I thought Trump was somebody he wasn't, like, I fucked up. I'm just like every other person. Like, I fucking fucked up, like, I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it, like, even being as bad, I almost thought I was going to lose $100, dude, but at least I still get your 100, but whatever.
Send me your Venmo, by the way. I got you.
You know what? I think I have a Venmo.
Or PayPal or whatever fucking Zelle or whatever you use. I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
Is it a thing to transfer something to someone's bank account anymore? Like if I gave you my routing number and bank account, that just sounds stupid nowadays. Like to write a check.
Yeah, okay.
And give you like.
I could put a check in the mail, you boomer. Like,
dude, that's cool. Does people have checks anymore? I don't even have checks with my checking account.
I have checks, but they're like 9 addresses ago. Literally 9 addresses ago. That's how many checks I write.
The only ones I have are like the first ones they give you that just have your address or something like or whatever, but like don't have your name printed on them yet. Like I got those. Like anytime I have to write shit down, I have to go find that checkbook just so I can like find my routing number just to figure it out.
My brain somehow recorded my routing number.
Yeah.
It's
wow.
It's the Chase routing number for Oregon. It starts 3250. You all probably know it already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, now I could tell you the next 4 digits. God damn it! I almost said them too. I was like, fuck. Yeah, no. But yeah, man, I don't know, dude. Like, I fucked up. Like I said, I completely fucked up. But at the same time, like, I think that, like, like an independent could just like walk in and sweep this shit, dude. Like,
yeah,
really easy. And like nowadays with social media too, like you wouldn't even need to fucking have any campaign funds. You would just have to go on and like already have a social presence and just, just walk in and just wouldn't need funding at all.
I would have
like,
thought Andrew
your GoFundMe page.
I would have thought Andrew Yang, honestly, but he's bowed out apparently.
No, I'm saying like anybody can always like, and it's probably out of fear, like like I said, dude, like if they dropped it, if it was a Democrat that just said, you know what, fuck you guys, I'm going independent, and they're like, you're gonna take our votes because you were already in this, they'd be like, fuck you, dude, like, and that'd be a good fuck you to them know like, hey, I'm not gonna play your games, you know what I mean, and like I'm gonna go, but like it could be a career ender, but it could just be like, the biggest move of their life too, like. But I mean, that's it, dude. Like, fuck it, dude. It's like just getting like publicly shamed and your fucking shit's over just based on one outburst. Maybe it's like Andrew Yang's got a fucking like blackface history in his past that he doesn't want brought up yet, dude.
Oh,
so he's the next like.
Come on, he's an Asian guy. Come on.
I'm just saying though, you never know, man. Like fucking kids are kids, like. Like this shit all started just like I don't know, like when all like this stuff happened, like blackface was so like kind of normal back then. I never wore it personally, but like we did dress ups for school and like fucking people would come in and with blackface. I remember that, but like to do history and it was always like you stay true to character. It was never like it was never like like as a kid, like now, you think of it differently, but as a kid in your innocent mind and like you don't even think of the world the way that everyone else does yet. You're still like thinking that way. It's like the kid wants it, so the parent just says yeah because they want to avoid that conversation of hey, like there's black people out there. You know what I mean? Like
Josh, I guess you're canceled. I'm sorry. Canceled forever.
What do you mean?
What you don't
I'm reported.
You don't understand cancel culture?
I'm not saying I'm promoting it. I'm not saying that it's cool now, but like at what point how do you address that with kids? You know
what's kind of funny actually is that Violent J from the Insane Clown Posse has some fairly like not modernly acceptable stuff in like their earlier stuff, and he's like, no, I'm not taking it out. And if my kids look at that, I'm gonna say, yeah, your dad was a fool. I was dumb back then, but I'm not now. And I'm like, wow, the Insane Clown Posse is now like has the moral high ground in our modern life. You know what I mean? I was like, how does like Violent J from the Insane Clown Posse have like the smartest like nuanced take on like previous like shit that would get you canceled versus like modern values? It's very weird.
I don't know. I mean, look at like Eminem, dude. He's still like huge and like fucking like look at his earlier shit, man. Like
yeah.
Like he was making fun of gays and homosexuals so much, and
totally,
like, dude, they like, but like he still like just was real, and it wasn't like directed at them personally. You know what I mean? It was like just like everybody called everybody like the F word and like, just like all that shit back in the days.
Yeah.
Like back then, I would have said it. Like, but like now, I just. You just learned and like you're uncomfortable saying it in public out in certain places, so you just kind of like cut it out or you just say the F word, like I don't, or you come up with something, like I always say DC chicks when they're dumb cunts, you know what I mean? Like just to not upset anyone. I'm like, oh, you must feel like DC, you got that accent, like just something like where it's just funny to me, but no one else gets it, and I'm just like, yeah.
Just the idea that like a guy in the Insane Clown Posse has like the smartest take on like cancel culture and like should we take down statues or should we take down Seinfeld or Golden Girls episodes or whatever. It was very, very funny to me. Yeah.
I don't know. I used to get into ICP. I was never like a fucking gigolo or nothing, but like I never painted my face, but I never went to no concerts. But like, I mean, some of their shit was pretty cool to listen to, especially when you're tripping balls. But like,
they're apparently,
I don't know, man. Like
they're apparently
they've been around
like really,
for a while, so they're
like
they're
really
smart as shit,
they're
probably.
really cool people. They're really cool people, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I've never met them. I've never like seen nothing. I mean, I've watched them. Like they've always been in character whenever I've seen anything of them, like watching videos of like interviews and shit. So they're always like in character, and it's kind of, I don't know. I never really thought of like people playing characters. Like growing up, you're listening to music, and that's why you're influenced by music and shit like that. So it's like you're listening to stuff, and like you kind of think it's real. You know what I mean? Like nowadays, like with mumble rap, and it's all just like fake ass shit, talking about guns and stuff, and no one really has guns. Nobody's really in a gang. They just like join a gang just because they're gonna fund them and shit, whatever. Like who knows? But like then it was like you didn't know it as much, because like you didn't have social media, you didn't have all this crap, like it was just like you read what you read in the newspaper, and you saw it on TV and during the news at like 5, 9, and 12, like and that was it, dude. Like nowadays it's just like everything's so fast and so quick, and like I love the fact that we shut down just because it like slowed everything down. I feel like the world slowed down a little bit. I feel like people around you just like slowed down.
Yeah.
Like, some people slow down way too much, you know, because they were already not in a hurry, and then they just like spend like 12 minutes in front of the meat counter instead of like fucking 5, you know, like, but now I gotta stay 6 feet away, so it's a bigger deal. So like, you know, shit like that. But like, you know, you're still not really in much of a hurry. I don't know. I think it's awesome that it's just kind of like slowed it all down. I feel like we could stay this slow and like not really have to work that hard, and the world could still like, or just this country could still function just as easy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anything should be as hard as it is. And like, oh, we gotta do the best. We gotta make the next best TV. I'm like, nah, man. Like, TVs are cool for a minute, you know. Like, if you guys develop something at some point on your free time with all your people, you know, and all the money you're making off the residuals from your last like 5 generations of something, you know, like, slow down and make something good. Don't fucking just put shit out just to put out the new thing next year just to get more money, you know, like. And then just like call all this like markup shit like R&D money, you know, like, fuck you, dude. Like, you're just trying to profit off of something you ain't even done yet. That's like the fucking power company not letting letting California burn down last year, right? So like the power company did that shit because they didn't want to upgrade their shit, but yet they charge you like a premium to keep your shit upgraded. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so like, you know, like the power, you know, we had to trim some trees around your shit out there, you know. It's like, well, fuck, what about all that other crap that was down there, you know? Like, you know, a transformer's got a 5-year shelf life. Why don't you just replace it after 5 years? Why do you wait 7 until it blows up and, you know, does some shit? You know, like,
I'm too drunk.
They're just as greedy as everybody.
I'm too drunk for this conversation. And we will.
That's the whole point of the fucking show, motherfucker.
We will pick up this show the next time. We will pick up this exact topic the next time. Motherfucker.
Damn, that's a long time to remember a topic, man. I'll have like so many holes punched in my wall before it's over with, because I'll like think about it for the next week, and I'll be like, this son of a bitch, you know, and like, fucking.
I know.
And then I won't have you to yell at, and so I'll just have to fucking punch it in the wall, or I'll have to just like text it to you and accidentally text my boss or something.
Josh,
like, this motherfucking stupid. Yeah, I know. What's up? Peace out.
Give your send off to the folks. Go ahead.
Peace out, y'all. That's it. I got shit. I don't care about them.
Everybody, that was a pretty good show. I quite enjoyed that show. We'll be on Discord for the after show if you want to add us. If you can find us, I'll be on Discord. I don't know about any of y'all, but yeah. That was a great show.
I'll see if I can get this shit to work.
We'll be there. We'll be there. Anyways, yes. This was a good show. I think it's probably the first PUI that I'll actually remember the ending of. So I'm very proud of that. But anyways, peace the fuck out. Be good, kiddos. We're out. We are out. Outro.
Change of speed, a change of style, a change of scene, with no regrets. A change to watch, admire the distance,
still occupied, though you forget. Different colors, different shades, all the rich mistakes were made.
Sometimes I don't know where this dirty road is taking me. Sometimes I can't even see the reason why. But I guess I'll keep a gambling, lots of booze and lots of rambling. It's easier than just waiting around to die. One time, friends, I had them all. I even had a Paul. He beat her with a belt once 'cause she cried. She told him to take care of me, headed down to Tennessee. It's easier than just waiting around to die. I came of age and I found a girl in a Tuscaloosa bar. She cleaned me out and hit it on the sly. Well, I tried to kill the pain. I bought some wine and hopped the train. It's easier than just waiting around to die. And a friend said he knew where some easy money was. We robbed a man and brother did we fly. But the posse caught up with me, drugged me back to Muskogee. And it's 2 long years of waiting around to die. Oh, but now I'm out of prison, I got me a friend at last. He don't drink or steal or cheat or lie. Well, his name's Codeine. He's the nicest thing I've ever seen. And together we're gonna wait around to die. Yeah, together we're gonna wait around